we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
It's the prime time.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
This is good, man.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Tyson had to work a little bit late, but he will be joining us in about 20 minutes or so. A long-awaited Victory Monday stream.
Yes. Finally.
How was your stress-free Sunday without the Jets?
It was great. I was watching Red Zone most of the time. Watching the Buffalo-Miami game. I tell you, no defense on either side. I couldn't believe it. It was back-to-back and just stupid mistakes. Miami could have had that game. It's just stupid. But that's what happened.
Are you paying more attention to the Tankathon standings at this point or the wild card standings?
I am looking at the wild card standings. I'm looking to see who's losing that we'll be chasing, more or less. Like Denver, Pittsburgh,
Chargers,
yeah. The
Bengals,
yeah. Bengals.
They've won 3
Bengals are on and off, you know.
The way I'm looking at it, I mean, you got the Ravens and Steelers. One of those two is going to be a wild card. You got the Broncos and Chargers. They're your 5-win teams, and then the Bengals as your 4-win team. But they're starting to get on a run, so that's kind of
If you look at I think Denver will slowly dissipate because they got to face the Chiefs twice this year, and they haven't played them yet. So their schedule's a little bit more tougher. Hello, sad New York guy.
Say what's up to the chat.
Hello, yes. Hello, chat.
It's crazy what one win does to us. You know, we lose 5 in a row, and we're ready to blow everything up. And
you always want to root for your team, regardless. You know, you're still a fan. You just can't, don't tolerate what upper management does and coaching and just this whole hype we had, and then have to deal with what we had to deal with, and with the owner who meddles and does things half-ass.
We'll get into all that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question from NY Jets Nowhere: How many wins do you guys actually see us having at this point?
Taking each game one at a time. I'm taking each game one at a time. I'm not taking any team for granted this year. At this point, we dug a hole, and it's going to be tough to climb. We need some breaks. That's what's going to happen. We need some breaks.
I don't think the New York Jets can overlook any team at this point. I mean,
no, not one bit.
We haven't shown the ability to handle success. Like as fans, you want to have that renewed optimism. Like they kept the season alive for another week. That's great. But now they got to show they could actually win 2 in a row, go on a streak, because they don't really have much wiggle room anymore.
I got to see some continuity. I got to see this team play, and I got to see this defense. They've got to figure a way to stop the run. And that's right, 14-3. It's going to happen. I don't know this year, but it's going to happen.
I was trying to do the math and see if there was a way they could still actually get 14 wins, but no, I don't think.
No. There's no way to do 14.
I mean, with 4 playoff wins.
Yeah, that's all right.
If you want to get really crazy,
it's okay. You always hype up your team. It looked good, but unfortunately, it's not gonna. Yeah, I didn't expect this start with this team. I expected some. No.
So the question I have before we break down the game is, how do you approach the trade deadline tomorrow, with the Jets kind of being in the middle of potentially looking at tanking versus maybe saving the season if they can win a few?
I don't think Woody's going to allow any trades to get rid of people. He's already made this. He already made the change in coaching. He thinks it's going to. I don't think he gives up on the year. I don't think they do anything either. I don't think if anything, if they'll try to pick up somebody to replace guys that are hurt, especially in the safety position. Yep. I don't know how long these guys are out, but they need reinforcements and probably cheap guys, because they're not going to get any.
And Photo's been injured all year also. I mean, if
Yeah.
you want to add a veteran D lineman, I know they only have about like
D
4 million
tackle,
cap
yeah,
space,
yeah.
but
You need someone to plug up that run game, you know. And then I saw that Moses, he's got like 400 different injuries.
a meniscus tear, grade 2 MCL something. I'm like, Jesus.
Sure. And he just goes out and plays. You got to hand it to him. You know, he doesn't. If that's not a leader, I don't know. You know.
That's what I thought. It was a little bit under 4 million. Yeah, 3.4 million in cap space. And I don't even think they could save a whole lot of money if they traded somebody like Mike Williams, because I was looking at his number, and a lot of his is the dead money for next year. I think his cap number this year is like 3 million. So I don't even think they save a lot if they trade somebody like him.
Listen, it worked out. You know, if they can click, you get all those weapons on the field. It's going to be very hard for a defense. You know.
Do you bring back any old faces? Quentin Jefferson, Nathan Shepard?
How old is he? No, Shepard. Jefferson,
Jefferson's
depending on
not
his
too
age.
old. He's not too old.
I would, because he played well for us. Just a stupid mistake as far as not get what is it was a fax or they didn't get a call, and he was cheap. It didn't cost much. Didn't cost the team.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I think he was inactive the other day with
Was he?
Browns, right?
Possibly. Well, the Browns, I have their problems. They talk about bad cap space. Stuck with that.
Would you bring back
Deshaun
Jamal
Jackson.
Adams?
No, I don't need headaches, because it's a me guy. He'll be a me guy.
You can sense he wants it though. He keeps posting all these pictures in the Jets uniform and everything.
Because he figures they're the only team that would bring him back.
Yep.
You know,
in his mind, it's like the Reba story, him finishing his career where he started.
Yeah, well, he kind of pushes himself out of the team. You know,
if I thought he was even 80% of the same player that he used to be, I would entertain it, just because they're so thin at safety. But Jalen Mills is playing well right now.
Yeah, it's the attitude. You got to come in with that attitude. You got to be humble now. You know, your career didn't mount like you thought it was. You got to be humble now. You got to come in and be a player. Oh, Jose. But.
All right, so let's take a look at Thursday's game. Jets with the win, 21-13 over the Texans. Rodgers finally looking like himself a little bit, 22 of 32, 211, 3 touchdowns. All 3 drives in the second half, resulting in touchdowns, which was awesome. Mobility looked a little bit better. Has he renewed any of your confidence that he still has some magic left?
Well, we can't forget the first half.
Well,
he wasn't hitting anybody.
Second half adjustments. That's what counts.
Well, maybe he started clicking, and he admitted it too. He had the worst start in his time. But if you take just the second half, you saw things clicking. What I also saw was I don't know if you saw it, but Brees looked like he had his speed picked up a little bit.
Second half was much better than first.
He started picking up.
He had the drop. He had the fumble that thankfully he jumped on, but second half he looked a little better.
Yeah, but he looks faster into the hole than he was previously. So that was good to see. Corley was a good thing, but of course his stupidity. Like Bart Scott said, this is going to be your first touchdown. Why the hell are you dropping that ball? That ball should be in your chest. Take it back. Give it to the guy to put the thing on it. But he was saying, why do they all do that? Why is it necessary to just drop the?
It's all about social media now. They all want to get their celebrations in, and
they need to grow up a little bit. That's the problem.
Yep.
A lot of them are young, but it's a good sign because he shows some speed there. I like to see him on a catch and run, and what he can do. But he gave him a second chance, which I thought. I know you guys were complaining he should sit, but if no one else is sitting, why should he sit at this point?
How does the culture ultimately change then if nobody, especially for an error like that? I mean,
there's been errors through.
You have no wiggle room for stupidity like that.
I know, but there's other stupidity like taking a stupid penalty at the wrong time and they're back in again. It's the culture that was built by Saleh, and it hasn't changed much. It's going to take a while. They're going to need they'll need a hard-nosed coach, to be honest. That's what they need. They need a hard-nosed coach that won't take, will be respectful, but don't take any shit. You come to play. We're here to win. That's the attitude you have to bring in. Not, don't worry about it. Okay,
So through 4 games, you're not convinced that Ulbrich is.
No, I need a work several games. We said the same thing on thinking we were going to go in and we should beat the Patriots with no problem, right?
Yep.
You can't trust this team. When have you? Last time we trusted this team that could do this was back in 2010, 22. Not even, the Rex, those 2 years with Rex, because they showed a consistency of
Grimace.
the grimace. Yes, you got your costume, Armand.
You need it for Sunday.
You need to put the grimace on.
New York Jets 1-0 in the grimace era.
You never know. It may take just that much.
But yeah, going back to that, I mean, Vrabel would be awesome, and that's ultimately what's needed to change the culture. The problem is he's not going to come here. Woody hasn't shown in the past that he's going to pay for a head coach, nor is he willing to give up the control and the power to get any prominent head coach to come here.
The only way a head coach would come here is if he has in his contract, you meddle. You don't meddle. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
Tyson will be back by the time we start taking calls, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he was going to be about 20 minutes.
It's how we say ironic, or is it hypocritical? But he comes in, he makes these decisions thinking he knows football, but yet he goes to outside football guys to get their advice. So if you go into like Charlie Casserly when he went to get McCagnon, you went to a football guy for his expertise.
Yep.
So why would you want to meddle when you go into this guy to get his expertise? What makes you think you know better at that point?
He doesn't
hire the guys that run that know
football.
Back
to Idzik.
Yeah.
When they hired Corn and Ferry.
Yeah. Well, Idzik was no one else wanted the job. No one else wanted the job.
Yeah.
It's sad when no one wants the job, and you got to hire a guy that, who's a money man.
And that's why I'm in no rush to start a rebuild, because we've seen for a decade now the Jets try to rebuild in all sorts of different ways, and they can't get the GM. And that's the first part. Like, you have to trust that your owner is going to hire the right GM. Then you're going to have to trust that he's going to stay out of the way and let that guy hire the right coach. Then you're going to have to trust that the two of them are going to land on the right quarterback. So like tearing everything down and hoping that all these steps are going to go correctly when they haven't in 2 decades, I'm not eager to start that process. I know nobody wants to run it back with Rodgers right now, but really that's our best hope. He's still putting up numbers right now that are better than anything we've seen in the last 3 decades.
Yeah. You gotta take the emotion out of it and look at the reality. You're right. He's if he wants to come back and he's able to play, you stay with him, and then you
choice.
And then, but do you hold on to Douglas?
That's going to be interesting also, because typical Jets fashion, timelines never match when it comes to the GM and the head coaching hires. And you essentially, if you're going to run this back, you have another year of it, but Douglas is on the last year of his contract.
Right.
So is he going to want to return, especially after Woody Johnson has overstepped him on so many decisions at this point? Does he even want to come back? And if the Jets do have any success, I mean, Woody Johnson's going to say it was his moves that turned the season around.
Yeah.
I mean, but what kind of GM are you going to be able to sign anyway?
I think if he better wisen up and understand they're not waiting at the door to come in.
No.
So figure out where the problem lies. Is it within himself? If he could realize that it's him not stepping in and meddling, instead of sitting back, you have a cap, he's sticking to the cap, let him run the team. If you want, get a president that's a football guy, and let him be Douglas's boss, and then you just sit in the background. But I don't think he wants to pay somebody to be the president, because that's an extra salary he has to pay.
Well, he doesn't want to give up the control either.
Yeah, but he's
any time that he has it lasts for how long before he ultimately oversteps and caves to the media pressure, the fan pressure, whatever it is. He eventually does what he does, and he oversteps and he makes decisions based on what he feels in that moment is the right call. And again, like you said, he's not a football guy to be making those calls.
Yeah, but he thinks he is, but he's got to look in the mirror and say nothing's worked. Okay, and when he starts to do a search, it's going to be some guy, player personnel guy who wants to get his feet wet into the business, and you know, who knows what he's going to want to do, you know.
And not to mention all these other teams that are going to have vacancies too.
Yeah, look at right off the bat, the Saints
looking for head coaches.
The Saints right off the bat, right? Okay, and then who's going to want to come? You're going to get some guy, and he's going to want to change the whole coaching staff, which is fine by me. You can change, but
I just don't know if right now is the time to even do it. When you start, I'm sure you've done all the cap numbers. When you start looking at Rodgers' number and all these different contracts with all the void years, trying to hire somebody after this year, especially if you're tearing it down, if Rodgers isn't coming back, and you've got just millions and millions upon dead money staring you in the face, and a full-scale rebuild.
You can't do anything. You can't do anything.
Trying to hire somebody like that.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything. Are you gonna have to extend that money over the years, dead money, just to clear some space, just to get guys in? And who are you going to get in at that point? You'll be, at some point you'll be considered a lame duck.
Yep.
All right. So why would I come here? You're going to get what's his name that McCagnon got right off the bat, the cornerback, and did nothing.
Oh, Tremaine Johnson.
Tremaine Johnson just collected it. He was there for the money.
Yeah.
Did nothing. And he benefited from that defense. That's when he made him good. He just benefited from that Rams defense. But you're not gonna. Only good players will come here when they see there's a reason, there's a build, there's a culture, there's a winning culture. There's no, they don't have to deal with it.
At the very minimum, they need to move that needle away from the losing culture and at least build some positive momentum to end this season. Because if they decide tomorrow they're going to be sellers at the deadline and just tear this thing down, the one player that you're going to lose, we saw Thursday night, he's the one guy that you probably want to keep here for the next 10 years, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
2 one-handed touchdown catches. He's been one of the few bright spots, probably paired with Will McDonald this entire year. If you decide that you're going to rebuild and tear it all down, he's the one guy that you're absolutely going to lose, and you can't afford to lose a guy like that.
No, he doesn't want to. He comes from a winning culture, and now he has to deal with this
winning culture. Give me a break. There's no winning cultures around here.
You got a winning streak. What are you talking about?
Oh, are we talking about what? Just making the playoffs, winning the AFC East? That's what the show's about right now.
I mean,
we're talking about if you're feeling better. That's what we're talking.
We're talking about how the Jets should be buyers to the trade market and do all this cool shit.
Well, you can't be sellers, right?
We're only 3-6. The sky's the limit.
So you would be a seller tomorrow?
No, the Jets won't be because they got to sell.
Would GM Tyson Roush be a seller tomorrow? Yeah,
absolutely. I trade Mike Williams. I trade DJ Reed too. Because me personally, I'm not Woody Johnson. I'm not going to try to sell fans something I don't believe in. Like the Jets are 3-6. They're not a good team. They played a good half of football, and they're one bad loss on Sunday away from being irrelevant. And then we're going to be like, oh, we're back.
Or they're 3 field goals away from being in contention.
Doesn't matter it's just what's in front of you. Do you in your heart believe the Jets are going to go 7-1?
It's not about that, though.
No, it is about that. Are they going to go 7-1?
What I was arguing with Afram is that if you're committing to a full-scale rebuild, you're losing players like Garrett Wilson. You're
losing him anyway. You're a losing organization.
About him.
Somebody answer the question. Are the Jets going 7-1?
Probably not.
Okay. Are they going 6-2?
Possibly.
What are the chances of them going 6-2? Based on what we've seen, keep in mind they've only played a good half of football last Sunday. Or Thursday. Let's act like they played this great game. They played one of the worst football we've seen in forever. They beat up Texans team, and now they're celebrating like, holy shit, we're going to the playoffs. Let's be honest for once in a while.
I just can't embrace the rebuild. I can't embrace the rebuild. What confidence do you have? And this is what we were talking about before you joined. What confidence do you have that Woody Johnson's going to stumble upon the right GM when he's not willing to give up power, when we know that he's going to meddle? So you're not going to hire the right GM. Then you have to hope that you land on the right head coach. Same thing. You have a meddling owner.
But that's the Jets. The Jets' plan is hope, and we have none.
But do you have hope in a rebuild either?
No.
So what's the harm in delaying that rebuild another year?
No, I'm not. I'm
lightning in a bottle.
No, I'm not. There's no harm because I know it's going to happen. Everybody's going to have this false sense of hope. They won one fucking game. They're 3-6, and now social media is great. The Jets are great. The Jets are back. They're 3-6. They played some of the worst football we've seen in years.
Nobody's saying they're great. It's hope.
They've proven nothing. So now what? We have to go week by week and be like, oh, this is the week they're going to turn it around. Okay. No, and now the Cardinals are easy. Anybody watch the Cardinals play yesterday? The Cardinals are not easy.
No, not one bit.
I'm not buying the team, but they've got a lot to prove to me. Are they going 7-1? Absolutely not. 6-2, I highly doubt it. So now the trade deadline is going to come and go. And 3 weeks from now, you know what we're going to say? We could have, we should have, we could have. Typical Jets. That's where we are. That's exactly what's going to happen.
That always happens.
Go ahead. I'm just
Yeah,
not going through a rebuild. I can't. We've been sold 3 different rebuilds, all sorts of different ways. Marriage with Foles and McCagnon.
So we don't have to do a rebuild. Keep everybody. Bring everybody back next year. Delay your rebuild 1 more year. I don't give a fuck. It's going to be the same result.
When you start looking at the contracts, the void years, you're not going to hire anybody prominent right now.
And who are you going to? Yeah, exactly. Who are you hiring next year? Nobody.
If you build a little positive momentum, maybe.
So what's your positive momentum? And then the season 7-10.
If you could get to 9 or 10 wins and sneak into a wild card, I think that would be some momentum there.
Okay, that's fantasy land.
Probably not going to happen.
So it's probably not going to happen. So the Jets go 7-10 or 8-9.
Things have happened.
Crazier things have happened. Or the Jets. So 7-10, 8-9. Then what? Is that your positive momentum? Oh, we were 3-6, but now we're 8-9. Congratulations, everybody. We've arrived.
Compared to the alternative of being sellers and completely tearing everything down, which is
no
hope for the next 3 years. Legitimately no hope for the next 3 years, and the little building blocks that you do have are now gone.
They're not going to sell. They're going to stay in status quo. Nothing's going to happen. Maybe trade Mike Williams, but Alan Lazard is hurt. Probably not going to trade him.
Well, I'm fine with that. You want to trade Mike Williams? I'm fine with that. I'm not trading DJ Reed, though.
To me, it doesn't matter. It's just you're just delaying the inevitable. You don't trade him now. What's going to happen is you don't trade him now. This is similar to last year. At the trade deadline last year, when we should have traded Carl Lawson and Dalvin Cook and all these fucking guys, and we didn't. 3 weeks later, what were we saying? Man, I wish we would trade him. We should have traded Bryce up. Man, I wish we would trade him. The same thing's going to happen this year. We've seen this before.
The only difference being is maybe we have a quarterback.
Maybe who? Rodgers? He ain't coming back next year.
Well,
this like, you know what? I'm so tired. It's so funny watching people kiss the fucking Jets ass to get fucking subscribers and likes and views. Oh, we're back. Let me tell you the reasons why. Well, I'll be the guy to tell you. I'll tell you the reasons why they're not going to. They're not going to go fucking not win 7 more games. Like, this is the same shit. We've seen this before. This team is not well coached. They're not well prepared. They beat up a banged up Texans team. They got to show us a lot more the next 2 weeks to even talk about fucking playoffs or the AFC East.
I agree.
The AFC East is over.
That was what we started with. This team has not proven they can handle success. I'm not trying to get too far ahead, but I'm also not ready to embrace a full-scale rebuild again. We're not going to rebuild,
but say tomorrow night they're going to do nothing for trade deadline. Nothing. Status quo, which is fine. That's an organizational decision because you know what? Woody Johnson can't act like he's selling because you know what? He's got to try to sell tickets to an impossible sell. Exactly. That's why Jets Colts was flexed. Nobody wants to see that shit. Right? But it's just, I'm tired of people telling me, bro, you're too negative. They're 3-6. The first half of last week was terrible. And guess what? If you're a real Jet fan, not some fucking front runner guy on social media trying to get goddamn subscribers, this is a game they always lose. Off a bye on the road in Arizona. They usually get blown out, if we're being honest.
With extra time to get ready, yes.
Right? And if you don't like what I'm saying, don't tune in. This is how I feel. Like, I'm not that fan. Like, we've been beaten up for the last 6 weeks over shitty football. One half is not making me feel better. It's just not. It's just not. I think it's just comical to see everybody acting like, oh, my God, this team is so great.
But nobody's crowning the Jets anything.
Bro.
It's really just avoiding what the alternative is, which is a guaranteed 2 to 3 year rebuild, which is probably
there is no answer for this team. There's no answer because if you're going to stay status quo, and they're going to win enough games to fuck up draft position and act like they've arrived and done something to guarantee bring people back.
What is draft position for this team?
Bro, I mean, if you have, Joe Douglas should be fired. Not fired. I'm sorry, not re-signed. So maybe you get a legitimate general manager because guess what? You're probably going to need a quarterback. So if you have a top 8 pick, maybe you get a guy that can actually draft the quarterback correctly. Yeah, but there's an idea.
Even this year, I don't think the quarterback market is going to be that great.
That's every year for the Jets. That doesn't matter.
No, but I mean that's the quarterbacks coming out are not coveted as much as like the previous years.
And we're
going to trust our first time GM to draft a quarterback.
What exactly are we buying?
I'm not saying buy either. I'm not saying buy.
Well, first of all, you have no the problem you have is you have no cap space after getting Devontae Adams and Reddick. You need what? Safeties, defensive tackle, all this shit. You have no cap space, and you're selling your soul for what? You're 3-6. You're gonna try to get more resources for what? To win 7 games, 8 games? What are you doing it for? You have people in charge making decisions that have the wrong agenda. Woody Johnson's trying to sell tickets. Joe Douglas trying to save his job. And both of them are in the wrong spot. Joe Douglas should have been fired already. That's where I'm at with this. Like, it's been so funny. The reaction to this win has been comical. Comical. And it's predictable. Joe Douglas did a great job. Based on what?
Nobody said that.
Dude, you haven't watched my timeline or social media. It's ridiculous.
But I to Johnny's comment, I don't even think the Jets can be buyers. Like they have $3.4 million in cap space. Like they already traded one of their picks.
No, they've got to own their mess and they've actually got to play better and be coached better. And the biggest problem I have is this is a poorly prepared and poorly coached team. You can only overcome so many things. And when you play a better team that's not completely undermanned like the Texans, you get your ass kicked. And the funny thing is like, oh, we beat the Texans. Oh, we lost to the Patriots. Does anybody forget this? Like, it's you're only as good as your last performance. Okay, they played a good half of football. Congratulations. You're 3-6.
What if Rodgers was hurt? Now he's getting healthy.
Good. Give him all the cayenne he wants. Still 3-6.
Cayenne and Grimace.
Get me to 500 before we talk about anything else. Other than that, this team, it's over, dude. It's just.
I want to see how they come out in the first quarter.
But Afram, you're a longtime fan.
Yeah.
This is a spot where the Jets, coming off a win, off a mini bye on the road, they never show up. Under Saleh, under Ulbrich. It's what the Jets do. Especially when they think they've arrived. They've accomplished something. They're proud of themselves now. We've showed you guys no quit in this locker room. Okay? You won one game, dude.
That's the usual, but
under Ulbrich.
Well, it doesn't make a difference. I think it's just how they come out in the first half. It seems to be the trait with this team since Saleh took over. They're just not prepared.
They're not well coached.
Yeah. They seem to make any type of adjustment in the second half, but a lot of times it's too late by then. You know, they were very fortunate because they went in. You know, the game was close, and you know, like you said, they were soft team. But the defense, they still had their defense. They just didn't have much of an offense.
But to me, to think any team on the schedule is easy is laughable.
No.
Like we've been hearing easy games for the last 7 weeks, and we lost 5 of the games.
Yeah.
Right. The easy game was the Patriots. Lost that game. And I agree. Like the Jets social media team, like, listen, we give Garrett Wilson credit, but let's not lose focus with what's going on here. They're not a good team. They've got so much to prove, and they're one loss away from Sunday from everybody shitting on them all over again. And that's exactly what's going to happen, right? They lose on Sunday. What? You lost 6 of your last 7. But that's what's going to happen.
I mean, the 2015 Jets were in a similar position, and then they rattled off 5 in a row.
Yeah, but they were coached a lot. They were coached a lot better, though.
Yeah. But even if they win, you have to rely on a lot of other teams faltering. That's the difficult part. You know,
teams that you've already lost to, which makes it even worse.
Broncos loss is going to come back to bite them.
Dude,
all of them.
You lost all those AFC games
from a tie-breaking perspective. I mean,
but the tie-break, I don't feel like it's funny. Like people are like, oh, you got to root for this, got to root for that. I'm not rooting for shit until the Jets get to 500. All these conversations are completely irrelevant.
It's like the expression, you can't hit a 10-run homer and one at bat. I mean, you got to do it week by week. So they got one.
We'll take 5.
You try to get one this week, and you try to keep your season alive another week.
And by season's end, we'll try and we'll get 7 wins. Congratulations, Jets. You should be proud of yourselves.
It's November 4th. Like, are we supposed to come on here and talk draft already? Like, I can't do that.
No, but it's just I'm not going to sell false hope. The hope. The only thing we're talking about is hope. We got to hope they win on Sunday. Based on what we've seen, what is our hope? Is the run defense going to show up this week? That hasn't shown up all year.
What gives you more hope? Potentially running this back another year, or just completely starting all over again?
Starting all over again. I've seen enough.
Really?
I to bring back Ulbrich, Hackett, Downing, Keith Carter. No, thank you. Why?
Okay, when I say run it back, same group of players, different head coach.
That I can go for.
Okay.
But that's what he was trying to say. Based on the money that is going to be dead, there's really how much movement can you do with this team as far as new players or get rid of
look
players.
At the cap hits for some of these players.
No, that's what he's saying. That's what he was saying. It's just saying
what GM's going to want that job then.
You're not going to sell the team out, sell players out, and start like a brand new team. And
they're like in no man's land right now.
Yeah.
They're literally in no man's land. They can't sell and they can't buy. They're going to stay status quo, and then hope somebody wants to inherit this. And if that includes Aaron Rodgers, which it sounds like it may because Devontae Adams wants to come back, then it's like, who wants to coach this other than Rex Ryan?
That's right.
And it might be. That sells tickets.
And
Yeah,
people
look at
can
it that way.
I'll take 1 year of Rex Ryan with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams instead of starting over another rebuild. That
But see,
we're gonna be
the
starting over
reason
again in
is
3 to 4 years. And
what is the end goal? Is the end goal to just make the playoffs and celebrate the playoffs, or is it to win a fucking championship? That's my question. Like, okay, we run it back one more time to maybe make the playoffs. Great. And then what? And then you rebuild.
The first goal has got to be to change the culture. Before you can win a championship, you've got to change the culture.
Okay,
If
so you're going to change it by
constantly
bringing
doing all these rebuilds and selling off good players, which is what will happen. You will lose Garrett. Well, if you're sellers tomorrow, you're losing Garrett Wilson.
They're not going to be sellers. It's going to be they're going to be status
so
quo.
how are you changing the culture if you're constantly dealing off your good players?
But I'm not saying I'm not saying they're selling. There's going to be status quo. Tomorrow, nothing is going to happen, maybe minus a Mike Williams trade. So the circus is still here. Your favorite circus is still in town. And then what? Say, you know what? Maybe we're close. Let's try this one more year of this. That's all they have. They have no more hope left.
That's really their only option.
Exactly. They're in no man's land. But the option is not got to produce a Super Bowl. That's the problem. The option is we just want to get to the playoffs. That's our hope. And then we can celebrate that. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Ravens, their goal every year, championship. Chiefs, championship. Steelers, championship. The Jets are just trying to get relevant and make the playoffs. It's a mindset. So if that's our, we got to bring it back. Maybe we have a chance next year. And then what?
We have to stay confident.
1 year. It's not a 5-year plan. It's a 1 year hope plan.
Yeah, but you got to get a coach in that can put together a good coaching staff, just like the Ravens have, just like the Steelers have.
Right, but that's it. There's no. But what's the long-term plan for the Jets? They don't have one.
No.
This was a 2-year window for Rodgers. The first year they fucked up on having a backup quarterback. This year's been a complete disaster. And now what? Maybe we can get 1 more year out of it. And then what?
If you could get a good coach and a good coaching staff in here, you can slowly keep some guys, interchange, and be still competitive by certain moves. All depends on who's available, but still, you got to get somebody. You have to get a competent staff here.
Would you rather coach the Bears or the Jets?
I don't know about that one.
Oh, bro, give me a break. Bro, give me a break.
I saw the other guy. I saw the Bears yesterday. They didn't look too good.
Dude, look at Eberflus is a clown, dude. He's horrendous.
Okay, but still, that
would you rather have Caleb or would you rather have Aaron Rodgers on the last year of his life?
No, you want the newer guy, but still, I'm just saying, it goes to show you we're in the same boat. Our coaching staff isn't there. He's a bad coach.
But their future is a lot brighter than ours right now.
Yeah. But teams. I've seen teams make 1 or 2 changes with a good coaching staff, and they start beginning to be more competitive. It's how they buy in.
So what's the Jets' excuse for the last 14 years?
It was Quiddy Johnson. Unfortunately.
And that's another problem with hiring a head coach.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I just find the reactions to this win comical. You're losing focus of what's actually going on here. It's just,
you expect that after losing 5 games. You expect to have a little, you got to be happy sometime. Fans
you're happy, you enjoy it, but then you keep in perspective what's actually going on.
I get that, but you're always going to get that. We all came in thinking they're going to win between 12 to 14 games also at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, not me, man. It's
yeah.
Because you watch the cool thing about not playing on Sunday is you can watch all the other games. And you watch these teams play and you're like, they are in a different stratosphere as the Jets. Like the Baltimore Ravens, the Jets aren't in the same league. Right? Like it's like apples and oranges. They get blown, they'd be done at halftime, the game be over.
So with 8 games left, you're saying they at best be 500 with those last 8 games?
So I think they probably win 3 more games, 4 more games.
That's it.
So 50. They play 500 the last 8 games at best,
and then everybody celebrates. They won 7 games. Congratulations! In a year that we
I
hit
think
10
you guys are
11.
underestimating 6-2 as a realistic possibility.
Underestimate? Okay, tell me what's this great based on what we've seen this season up until now.
It's not a hard sell because they were 3 kicks away from having.
It's not a hard sell. Okay,
I'm not trying to be that guy right now, but
I could be the same guy. They could have very easily lost to the Titans too.
I know.
Okay, like it's so funny. It's so funny watching Jet fans. I guess you know what? I'm just fucking old, dude.
What other choice do we have?
Nothing.
I cannot rebuilds. I just can't do it.
You got to take each game as they come and see how they play and move.
But I'm not. But to me, I'm in prove it mode. They could do nothing tomorrow. Don't care. Great, good for you.
That's totally
but
fair.
It's just I'm not gonna sit here and like praise this team for the moves they're making. All like they're one win when they disappoint us the entire season. I'm just not.
There's a balance, I think, between showing them praise versus like keeping everything in perspective and just trying to live and see another week. I mean,
yeah, I'll give them respect. They're 3-6. So if they win, there's still 2 games under 500. They're 4-6. Congratulations.
Yeah.
If you go on you need like a 4-game winning streak to become relevant.
Or you just win the next 2 games and then you go into the bye week and you get 2 weeks to get ready to go 500.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Who do we play when we come out of the break?
Seattle?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me check.
You got to hope other teams will get injuries too during that.
Now we're hoping. Should we hope for snowstorms? Should we hope for acts of God? That's what we should hope for. All this stuff, right?
All right. So if we win this week at home against the Colts, more than winnable against Joe Flacco.
Absolutely. Just like the Patriot game, more than winnable. These games are
easy. Then you get 2 weeks for Seattle to come East
and
Coast.
The Jets always play great with a bye. Historically, they're so great with the bye. They always show up in those games. Always.
Don't take.
It's a long trip for Seattle.
Long trip.
Flacco's been playing well, so let's not.
They just lost to Sam Darnold last night.
I think you know what. After the Jets may not give up another point the rest of the year. The defense may pitch shutouts every week.
Then you got the Dolphins and Jaguars back to back.
Oh, easy win. Absolutely. I mean, this
you,
the Jets.
You can't see them going at least 4-1 in that.
Oh, absolutely. Do 5-0. This is the Jets. This is the Jets. They're well coached.
You don't see 4-1 as a possibility.
Based on what? I don't have fucking green colored glasses on. I keep it real. They're not a well coached team.
You got to see consistency.
Maybe a little confidence with the offense. You see Adams and the way he gets off the line. Wilson making plays like that. Like if that's a preview of what this offense could potentially be, plus the pass rush with a lead, 8 sacks. You saw them getting pressure. Hopefully, that's a sign of what they could actually start putting together week after week.
Hope is a dangerous plan.
There's nothing else we have other than hope.
Yeah, but I go by what we've seen. Your plan is hope over what I see. Like I listen. I understand everybody wants to try to embrace it and buy into it. Cool. I'm watching a game and be like, cool, man, cool. Like I know what's going to happen. We've been down this road before. You're probably right. And it's this Sunday is the game. This Sunday is the true test. Because how many times have we seen this? Every Jet fan's being honest to themselves, literally honest, not trying to be fucking some yuck it up here. Said this is a game they always lose. They always lose this game. Always. On the road, off a bye, they just don't show up.
This is a good test.
Off a win. Exactly.
Yeah. This is going to be a good test to see how they come out. You know, to see if this win sparked them to play together and play, we'll see how they come out in the first half. I'm just worried because of Murray, unless they contain him.
Yes. And that's been a problem all year.
Yeah. And then you got to worry. You got a good tight end.
You can contain Drake May, but going to contain Kyler Murray.
Yeah. You got,
or Jacoby Brissett on 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
No. You're right. I'm not arguing with that.
We can practice coming up.
We got to see what they do.
Let's see what Bubs thinks. Bubs, what do you think?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Bubs.
No problem.
We're we got Grimace now. We didn't have Grimace before this. Now we got Grimace.
That's true.
We're 1-0 in the Grimace era.
I can see it.
Yeah, that was the biggest adjustment we've made all year. Was Grimace. So, no, I'm kind of with you guys. I've said it for a while now. They got to get back to 500 for me to fully believe again, or at least start to buy in that this team can go to the playoffs. The schedule coming up, I think, is a lot. I think a little bit more difficult than maybe people are letting on to. I mean, you look at Arizona, you watch that game against the Bears, they just ran it down their throat, ran for over 200 yards. Unfortunately, this year we haven't been able to stop the run or stop rushing quarterbacks, so that'll be a pretty big test for us. But yeah, I mean, they still got a lot more work to do. You got to take it week by week, like you said, primetime. I agree with that. Where you can't hit a 10-run home run, you can't. You're not going to get 3 wins in 1 week. So you just got to take it week by week. You win, you get the 3-6. You kind of sort of keep the season on life support for another week. It's not completely dead yet. You know, they got a couple things favorable.
I got a
this
question
week
for
in
you.
the wild card, but
Who do you have more faith in? The Bengals at 4-5 or the Jets at 3-6?
the Bengals at 4-5.
Why is that?
Well, they've proven it before that they can come back from slow starts. Burrow is playing at a very, very high level. Their defense is the biggest issue.
Well, the Chargers and the Broncos haven't.
No, the Broncos, I think, will start to fall off. I think the Broncos, their schedule gets tougher. They still got to play Kansas City twice. They got Kansas City this week on the road. So I think Denver's going to start to fall off. A lot of tough games coming up for Knicks for a rookie quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Bengals. And I think you can even – Chargers' schedule, I was looking early today, is difficult, but you want to look at the coaching aspect. Probably a lot of people would.
Bruns is fully bought in. He's looking at the Chargers schedule. He's fully bought in.
Yeah, I was.
He's got too much free time on his hands, is what it is.
But you would take any logical football fan would take Harbaugh over Ulbrich and what we've got to win some of those games. The Denver loss that's gonna be a tough one. I think you come down to it, that could come back to bite us. Also, New England, not because New England's gonna be in the playoffs. It's just that's a game that you should not lose. Like, that is just inexcusable. That's gonna be a game that you're gonna look back on. Like, we let Jacoby Brissett convert 4 third downs on that final drive. You're gonna look back on that game and say, some of these other games like Denver, Zerline missed a kick, but they really had no business winning that game. Like, the offense played like trash all game. It shouldn't come down to a kick. The Patriots game, it's just like they were running the ball well early on, then they got away from the run, and then they just Jacoby Brissett. Like, there's no excuse for that. Like,
the Steeler game is going to haunt them too.
Yeah, the Steeler game, yeah, 100%. The interception, the first interception before half, and the ball off of Garrett's chest is going to come. They're all going to come back to bite them. They're all. I mean,
they already did.
They all will.
They already did. Yeah, because we're 3-6.
Yeah.
So what's your approach to the deadline tomorrow?
I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to hang on to everybody. If anything, it would have been Mike Williams, but with Lazard going down, I don't see them moving on. And plus, like, you look at Douglas right now. I mean, Woody's running everything, but like, you look at Douglas right now. Why is he going to want to trade guys to mess up this year to trade for picks next year that he might not even be here to make? So he's going to want to do everything he can. He's going to want to just stay pat, try and do everything he can, keep this roster in place with as much talent as possible to win this year while he's here, as opposed to sell off for next year when he's probably not going to be here.
That's probably Woody Johnson's mandate too, because he's got to try.
Yeah,
trying to sell something now.
Yeah,
right now if you sell, people like when you raise your ticket prices mid-season, you can't be like, all right, I'm raising ticket prices now, I'm selling off my assets. He's got to keep people just kind of like, oh no, we're really trying to win. Everybody, believe us.
Yeah, and this too, I think
general manager.
Yeah, with the Jets as well, I think their two big moves or their two big selling points was bringing in Devontae, and it was also getting Reddick back. That was like the big thing. So now they've got Reddick back. He played well last week. They're going to sell us on that. Devontae had the big touchdown with Rodgers last week. He had his best game as a Jet here. I know it's only been 3 weeks, but clearly his best day. They're going to sell us on that. So those were their two big moves. I don't think they're going to drastically move on from anybody or trade for anybody.
No.
If they were 4-5, do you think they buy some? They become buyers?
Maybe it's possible.
I don't know if they have the cap space to be buyers.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, where would they? I mean, they've got a lot of areas they can add, but like offensive line, maybe you don't have a
veteran D lineman. I'd like run stuffer.
Yeah, I agree. Because Fotu's been out. He was kind of supposed to be that Al Woods replacement, which hasn't quite worked out, but they could use a run stuffer. And I know Afram, you talked about maybe some help in the secondary, with the safety room, although I actually have been impressed. Jalen Mills has come in here. He's been one of the only guys in this team. There's been a lot of things to complain about, but he's one of the only guys in this team, especially on the defense at times, that like has come in, provided energy every week, speed, good tackler. Like, he's done a lot of good things. He's been one of the only bright spots. But he's been a positive, I think, coming in out of a guy that was on the Giants practice squad in the summer and got cut. So not much expectation there. But yeah, just got to take it week by week. See what happens with Arizona.
So what would you have done if they were 2-7?
Like, the deadline wise, or deadline wise? I mean, I'm not against selling off pieces. I just don't think they would do it. Like, I don't.
They won't. They won't, because they got to.
I mean, if they were 2-7. And let's say Lazard was still healthy, I think they would have probably gone rid of Mike Williams. But But other than that, like they're not going to trade Garrett. They want to do that. Like they're not.
But they
gonna
have
make moves
pieces.
for
You
that.
have pieces. DJ Reed, Reddick,
Yeah.
Conklin. You have guys people would definitely want.
They could have dealt Reed or would deal Reed if they
Even
chose.
Reddick, you sent him to the Lions. They're desperately for people.
Yeah.
Dying for a pass rusher.
Yeah.
They're still winning.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what winning teams do. From they don't fall
Well,
apart when the guys go
No,
down.
but they change. You outscore the other guy, even though your defense is giving up points.
Mhm.
And I think the Jets should look into that. If their offense is clicking better than their defense, then they need to push to try to score as much as possible.
Like Rodgers said, score 30 a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just win. The cayenne pepper and grimace. That's what we got right now.
That's the combo.
And you take out the quarterback. You take out the quarterback. Hey, you guys laugh when I say that. You take them out. You pound them.
So Afram's plan is injuries and
Not
violence.
injuries. You take them out. You keep pounding him.
Get in his face, Kyler Small.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael
Less
Clemens
miserable.
tries that, but it's a personal foul every week.
That's okay. Make sure you make sure it works.
You know he's getting one this week.
No, I mean, dude,
They hit
no,
Kyler out of bounds.
the Jets are going to become a brand new team now that they won a game. No more personal fouls, no more penalties, no more drop passes, no more fumbles, no more wasted timeouts.
You know, it would be. I mean, this
Correct.
week would be like same old Jets, but also it will be same old Jets. And this is where, like, if they get back to 6-6, and I'm going to start to buy in, they're going to get to like 6-6 or 7-6, and they're going to lose like that Jacksonville game. That'll happen. That'll be another same old Jets thing. We get to like 7-6. We got a game against Jacksonville. Doug Peterson's done, like as good as gone at that point. He's got 3 games left. They're going to be like 2-10, and they're going to lose that game. That would be
This Sunday is the biggest test for them because
Yeah.
they have no more wiggle room. This is it. They wiped out all their excuses. They wiped out all their chances. You know what I mean? Now it's like this is it.
And I would say this too. I think in terms of toughest opponents over this 3-game stretch to get back to 500, I would say it goes Arizona. I mean, Seattle. I just think Arizona's so tough just because the way they run the ball. In Indy, to me, I don't know. I'm not
That
as
defense is nasty, dude.
they are, but to me, it's just the way the way they run the ball. They are tackling. We get. I mean, how many times have we seen where there's 3 out of the 4 guys rushing, 3 of them are on one side of the field, and there's an open lane on it. Like they're just they get pushed off the ball so often. It's
The offensive line guides them away.
yeah.
And they fall for it. And they don't fight back. And that you got
That's
3
my
linemen
biggest
off
threat.
the one
That's my
side,
biggest concern with
and there's an
Arizona.
open route.
Yeah, but they gotta find a way. What does your gut tell you?
I mean, I just listen.
This
I just based on what we know from this team, they never show up off of this kind of performance. They just don't, especially on the road. They just don't. I forgot. I meant off a win, no less. Off a bye on the road, off a win. That's like Jets. Like
10 days.
10 minutes into the game, me and him are be cursing our brains out, throwing shit. Like, here we go again. We're back at it. I'd be
Maybe
shocked.
maybe something clicked in that second half.
Brick by brick. Brick.
I don't know,
Old
man.
brick. We got grimace. That's
We're all
that's
we
the
got.
biggest thing.
We're all we got.
That's what
Grimace.
that's what they should be saying. They're
Yeah,
3-6.
okay.
It's not like they were like 5-4 and lost a game. It's like fuck.
That's all we got. All we need.
That's all we got. We need. we need a banged up Houston Texans team on a short week. That's what we needed.
Yeah. What
You got to force the play on Tyler and make him throw the ball and make mistakes.
Sauce,
After's
baby.
trying so hard. He's got.
Got
I
to
think
keep him in the
After's got
pocket to do that.
Keep him in the pocket, contain him, and force him to make mistakes because he will throw it. You know,
Throw it up. Sauce
Throw it
actually
up, yeah.
gets a pick this week
Sauce
for the
actually
first
covers
time
this
in
week.
2 years.
He's got to be playing hurt or something, right?
Who Sauce?
Yeah, he hasn't been himself all year.
Nah, his drop off is so alarming. Because even Brees has started to do some. He's looked a little bit better on the ground, and from a receiving perspective, he's still there. Garrett's, outside the ball that popped off his chest against Pittsburgh, putting together a very solid season. But Sauce has been the most alarming, and of course, Jermaine going down. You can't blame him for that. But that to me still stings so much.
Well, now what's going to happen with the offensive line? Because Morgan Moses is playing with like a litany of injuries, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So who
He's
the hell's
like-
playing? Who's going to be if he goes down? Like who's going to be playing tackle? Who's going to be playing guard? Like what's the status of Simpson and what's like Hansen? Do we know?
I think Olberg's still got to. I think Olberg's going to speak. What Wednesday? Probably we'll hear more of an update.
What's today? Monday.
I kind of like the the offensive line they had in the second half with Mitchell and Olu
Yeah.
playing guard. You get 4 tackles out there. Pass protection holds up a little better. I thought that was an interesting combo. A little more athleticism.
All things considered, Olu did very well. Considering
You're never playing guard before. Yeah.
it's crazy.
Right
We brought
guard.
him in. That's just like that's like typical Jets. You bring him in as a left tackle, and he's played right tackle and right guard. What's next? Center. He's just going to work his way right to left, then left guard, then left tackle. I mean, I tell you what, I don't think. I mean, we've kind of gone 50-50 with Tyron Smith. We've gotten health so far, but we haven't gotten him playing very well. Like if you would have told me through.
Can we talk about Tyron Smith's contract now too? Let's talk about that now.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
let's see what kind of courage this fucking team has now with the interim head coach and a lame duck general manager. Where are they scared to bench him? Because guess what? When you bench him, you're taking money out of his pocket.
He's not
That's a
getting
good spot
benched.
to.
He's not.
He's
getting
not.
benched.
He's making $1 million a game. They're not going to bench him.
It clicks in now. Each
Yep.
game now clicks in $1 million.
Oh no, but it gets better, Afram. For the next 3 from playing time, it's $1 million. The last 5, it's $1.25 million.
These
So
are
if
big
he doesn't
games.
play, he loses the money.
You know he's going to play.
Yep. Never gonna.
Not taking that away from him.
Olu not playing left tackle at all his rookie year. Good job.
The one year we think that he's not going to get hurt, he's playing fully. Right? I mean, he's going to
playing
get
for
hurt.
money.
He's playing. Yeah, he's making.
Dude, him and Reddick are not going to be hurt the rest of the year. Him and
Motivated.
Reddick are going to be. Reddick is going to be. You can put like staples in his toes. Like, no, I'm good, man. We're good. They're not broken. They're fine.
Hey, you keep guys motivated.
Yeah.
Listen, if he plays well, I have no problem.
Has he played well?
Well, not at the point, but this last game, I think he was playing. He started playing better, but we'll see. Anything happens each game. I just want to see some consistency in the offense. I want to see them move that ball down the field like they did in the second half.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. And when they get the run game going, like stick with it. So many times they get the run game going and then like get away from it. And then when it's not working, they keep running it. It doesn't make. They do like the opposite. When it's working, they move away from it. When it's not working, they keep running it. They gotta.
They outthink themselves. Yeah.
Nicholas, I'm with you, by the way. Nicholas's comment is, I understand trying to have hope in this team. It's interesting how they play one good half and some fans want to whitewash the first half of the season. That's where I'm at. Listen, you're happy they won. You enjoy it. You're happy for Garrett Wilson. It's cool. But then it's like, let's not lose reality where we are. Especially when you watch football yesterday and you're like, yeah, we're just not in the same class as some of these teams.
No, unless they win 2 in a row, it means nothing. I mean, I think we're all in agreement on that. But we're still
What is 4
trying
and 6
to
accomplish?
prolong the season as long as we can here. That's all we can really do. Once
Dude, I'm gonna be the same negative prick until they come 6-6. If they're not 6-6, I'm doing the doom and gloom every week. That's what I feel
So
like.
a win this Sunday does nothing for you.
Good for them. They're winning games. They should win. They'll get back relevant.
5 and
6
6 at the bye does nothing for you.
I'm interested. Then I'm curious.
Okay.
Curious.
I'm curious.
What about like 6 and 6? Then you're like bought
Then
back
I'm,
in.
then I'm,
Then
then I'm
he's
gonna give,
for you.
then I'm
And
giving
7 and 6.
No, Ulbricht's getting a raise at 6-6. 7 and 6. Bring back everybody and give Joe Douglas 5 more years.
Extend Tyron Smith.
And then when
No.
they go
You.
7 and 10, then when they go 7 and 10,
You.
fire everybody.
7 and 6. What's your attitude going to be like?
I mean, why don't we just go overall? Why don't they just win the rest of their games then?
No.
Hey.
7 and 6. Just 7 and 6. You slowly were going a little by
They get
little.
me back at 6-6.
Okay.
7 and 6. I'm giving everybody raises and promotions.
I'm afraid if they go 6 and 6 and then they get the next week they play like shit, you're gonna lose it completely.
Can't go 11 and 6.
This is what I'm
with
here
6
for,
losses.
though. Because I knew I had this sense while I was teaching. I was like, I bet you right now, prime time's on the show, preaching there's hope, there's 3 and 6, we're back. I had sensed it. I'm like, nope.
I did
Not
mention that we're still 1 game out of the number 1 overall pick, so it's
Not
not
today,
like
Satan.
Still
Are we
covered.
really? We're 1 game out of the first pick in the draft?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Well, there's what, 2 teams
A lot of teams in
with
between, but yeah,
there's 2 teams with 2 wins, Giants and
Patriots.
Well, the Giants and Panthers play this weekend. That's gonna be a shit game.
Right.
Oh, that's gonna be awful. That's the tank bowl. If the Jets lose this week, we're gonna fish. I saw this slogan on Twitter. I forget where it's from, but Cam Ward, you can crash for Cam.
Ooh.
So wait, there's a question for prime time. If the Jets lose this weekend, are you giving up hope?
So that's complicated. So giving up hope in terms. Well, hold on. Giving up hope in terms of what, like
The season.
playoffs.
as far as making the playoffs this season? Yeah, if you're sitting there at 3 and 7, you're probably not making the playoffs. However, I still think for next season, the only choice we have is to try to run it back because, again, I'm not being sold on another rebuild. So if Rodgers is willing to come back, and with that, you get Devontae Adams for another year, you keep Garrett Wilson from requesting a trade. I'd run it back another year with whoever would be willing to accept the job.
So you're willing to. I got a scenario for you guys. This is the mood I'm in. I just don't care anymore with this team. So I don't care. They don't deserve my caring. So you'd rather, if you're willing to run it back and get a lesser head coach, or have a full rebuild and get a better head coach.
You really think that going full scale rebuild is going to get you a better head coach?
I think Aaron Rodgers will scare away coaching candidates. That's my opinion.
I think regardless, you're signing a stopgap head coach like a Rex Ryan or somebody.
No, but if you can sell, if you had, say you have a top, say they bomb out and they get a top 5 pick. You have a top 5 pick, Aaron Rodgers retires. I take that. Or do you want a top 6 pick and you have Aaron Rodgers coming back?
Yeah,
well, if Aaron Rodgers retires, then you're kind of forced to almost blow it up.
But I'm saying, but what would you prefer? You'd prefer to have this group come back with a lesser head coach, or Rodgers and these guys are gone and you get a chance at a better head coach?
If I know that there's a prominent head coach that's willing to come here, that trumps everything else, because that's what's ultimately going to change the culture, getting that prominent, established head coach. So if somebody like that was willing to come here, you do what you have to make it happen. I just don't think Woody Johnson's one, he's going to pay the guy. 2, he's not going to give control to whoever it is. He's always going to be meddling Woody Johnson.
But if you come in, if you get a good head coach, you know you're only going to have Rodgers for just that one more year. He's not staying after that. So it's not really you're going to shy away, because you know it's your team after that, and you can do whatever you want with it. You're just doing, and during that year, you could start building the culture the way you want it slowly, and then take over.
Build a culture.
No, but I'm saying you bring in the coaches you want. You work on that.
You change your circus clowns. Give them different color hats.
Yeah, well, I guess with Rod, like if you would bring in, let's say you get a top 5 pick, top 6 pick, you bring back Rodgers, draft a quarterback, have him sit, and then Rodgers for a year. I don't know. I wouldn't bring back Rodgers this.
Bubs, you follow college quite a bit.
Yeah. So
is the quarterback market for this draft any good?
I mean, I like Cam Ward a lot. I also like Milroe. I know Alabama struggled a little bit, but I like Milroe. Shadur, I don't know. To me, I don't love him.
Cowboy. He's not going
to and I don't know. I don't love him, like blaming his offensive line, not taking accountability. I like Ward and Milroe.
So even if you'd want to have Rodgers back if you're going to draft a quarterback, just for him to sit 1 year.
Jesus Christ.
If you're going to go that route.
We're going to go into another win now year with a top 10 pick that's going to be on the bench.
What is Tyrod Taylor for?
Okay, but you still want the guy to sit and we don't
Tyrod
want to.
Taylor's under contract next year.
Okay, but I'm my concern is we start doing the same thing by bringing in and throwing the kid to the Lions.
Tyrod's under contract.
Yeah, all right, then he's your starter then next year.
Tyrod, Jordan Travis, and the guy you draft. Go at it. Let's see who wins. All right, Bubs. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah.
We all these callers waiting here. We're just talking to Bubs the whole time.
Have a good one.
Fucking prime time. What kind of host are you, dude?
Wait, what did I do?
Get control of your show, prime time.
You're screaming like a lunatic.
Because I hate this shit.
Okay.
It's a Victory Monday.
It's November 4th. We're 3-6. We're talking about playoffs. Give me a break.
Victory
Playoffs.
It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Thinking is overrated.
That is true.
What's up, Eric?
Oh, what's up, guys? I'm doing laundry right now. I didn't expect it.
Oh, well, we'll take you back off. We'll come back on in 10 minutes.
Come back when the spin cycle hits.
What's up, Luca?
No,
I'm
not buying into the Jets' optimism. I'm going to go full scale here. I was actually rooting for a loss because I don't.
Oh, stop.
Yes. That's how it is. I'll tell you, this season is going to go one of two ways because, again, I'm not. Thank you. I got this in South Bend. This will go one of two ways. I'm not as old as you guys. I've experienced obviously a little less, but just vision-wise, they're going to win 7 games, or prime time might be right where they go on some sort of winning streak and they just fall short of the playoffs because of games like Denver and New England and all of that, where the Jets had chances to win. They had a chance for tiebreakers, but you know what? They didn't win those games. And the first half of the season still bugs me a lot. If they were just won against New England, I would be somewhat bought in what would be 4-5. Yep. But just a win alone against the Texans, in my opinion, kind of just threw the Jets for a curve because.
Okay, so hold on. So they go on a run, they fall short. Do you think Rodgers would want to come back for another year, assuming that happened and he gets through the entire season?
Part of me says yes. Woody would want that for ticket sales and whatnot. And he'd be like, "Hey, let's build off of that because the Jets is just a never-ending process." But to me, I don't want it back next year.
What if he says, "I want to come back only if Ulbrich is my coach"?
Sure.
And would I even really want freaking Ulbrich as my coach?
No.
Exactly. That's my point. And again, like, here's the thing, though, right?
What prominent head coach are the Jets signing?
They're not signing a prominent. They're not signing a prominent head coach with Rodgers or without him. So it's going to be no difference either way. But why? Let's look at this. Like, go back 2 years ago. I said that Jets should have fired Saleh after that 7-10 season where they lost in Seattle against Jacksonville. All those different things. You would be basically putting kind of the same situation, right? We're going to have remember, they were trying to hire an offensive coordinator and they had Saleh and Douglas who were basically on the hot seat. Why would a coordinator take that job? Same thing this coming year. If they don't fire Ulbrich, or let's just say they do and they have Rodgers, why would a head coach say, "What? I'm going to go to the Jets for a year and then I'm going to fuck off elsewhere"? That's true, though. Why would a coach want to come here for a year instead of have his own plan, have his own GM, and say, "You know what, we're going to build this from scratch"?
Yep.
Like, I hate saying embrace the rebuild because I wanted this thing to work, but like, why fall for the false glory of a 10-7 season and then have shit next year? Like, did we not learn? Like, Aaron Rodgers is obviously better than Fitzpatrick. Did we not learn from that?
But you do have some coaches who come in thinking they can change this around. Their egos, you don't see it, but they think they can come in and say, I'll get this team up and running. I see good talent here. I can have it.
But then just start over then, because Rodgers would like only mostly be here one more year. That's the point. Why fall for false hope? Why start this thing up again? Plus, the worst thing is Devontae Adams' contract is guaranteed next year. So it's like almost like the Jets do want to run it back.
Exactly.
And again, it's not like, oh, I'm for trading good players. That's not true at all. It's just like at this point, you're pretty much sacrificing all of your future. You obviously traded a third-round pick for Adams. You're going to have not much cap space next year because Devontae Adams' salary, as I said, just got guaranteed. So you don't have a lot.
You don't have a lot of cap space. You've got tons of dead money with all these void years on all these contracts. Rodgers eating up a ton of cap space. What GM and head coach are going to want to come here under those circumstances, especially with an owner that has constantly shown that he's going to overstep and make his own decisions? Who's trusting that?
And listen, it's for both scenarios. It's for both scenarios, whether it's Rodgers is here or Rodgers is not here. We're screwed either way. But like, why live out? I'm just saying, why live out the 1 year of false hope? How high is Rodgers really going to get us to? Is he like, we're going to go back to the same conversations we had weeks ago? Is he really going to overcome this incompetent coaching? Or are we just going to magically forget the first half of the season and the first half of the Texans game where he scored 0 points? Or are we just going to magically forget that? Because I don't think he's saving nothing.
Do you think this staff is going to be the same staff next year?
It better not be.
Okay, so
if
now
Rodgers is back, I think Ulbricht's back. That's my opinion.
I don't think so. I don't think Rodgers gives a shit.
What?
I don't think. Did he go crazy over losing Saleh? Did he make a big? This is the business, and that's
well, he didn't like him.
Well, too bad. Yeah, he doesn't get involved. He'll have a say in the
Aaron Rodgers will play with anybody? You're out of your fucking mind. You think?
I'm sure they'll go and talk to him about it, but I don't think he's going to be jet set on keeping Ulbrich.
Yeah, he's saying, okay, you can fire Ulbrich, but you better hire this guy. I'm not coming back. Then what?
We'll see if that happens.
You play for X.
Okay.
And even like with let's just say the Jets rebuild, we'll compare that to obviously the Rodgers situation. Like, are you going out there and grabbing a Mike Vrabel from the Browns and saying, you know what, you're going to coach this team for a year? Or would he rather have, as going back to what I said earlier, a new foundation where he could set?
He'd rather go to the Bears.
Exactly. Because the Bears at least have a rookie quarterback, and like I think they're one staff away. I haven't watched them a lot, but you know what? They're like around 500. So you know what? They have a rookie quarterback. They have weapons. Obviously, they'll need maybe a little more talent, but again, rookie quarterback or close to washed quarterback with maybe 1 year left. You want your own foundation, just like with the rookie quarterback. That's it.
You want a team that you can have like a 5-year plan with, not
Exactly.
a 1-year plan, then adjust, 1-year plan, then adjust.
Again, it doesn't look good either way, but it's like, I don't want to say like the rebuild is slightly better, but like, why hang on to this? You started
the question is, what's the end goal? Is the end goal to try to win 10 games, or is the end goal to win a Super Bowl? The end goal is a Super Bowl, not just like, oh my God, we won 10 games this year. Now we rebuild. Congratulations.
Or we invest another 5 years into another rebuild, and we're in the same exact place that we were in 5 years ago with the fire Adam.
The Aaron Rodgers thing is over,
place
man.
we were in 5 years before that with the fire Idzik campaign.
It's going to be inevitable. The rebuild.
Inevitable.
It's not like we're moving off of Rodgers and we're going to go sign some other guy like Kirk Cousins or anything. We're going to end up rebuilding anyway.
I wish we got Kirk Cousins. Shit.
It's probably going to end after Rodgers.
We're going to end up rebuilding anyway. So you know what? Why kick the can down the road when you can just cut to the chase?
Why think they might be in a better position in like 2 years to rebuild?
We're gonna suck. We're gonna suck either way. We're gonna suck with Rodgers next year. We're gonna be mediocre. And as I said, like this year, I think mostly we're gonna win 7 games, end up with a pick in the 10 to 20 range. Or next year it's gonna be like the Ryan Fitzpatrick year. We're gonna have a mediocre pick, and then we're gonna be terrible with quarterbacks.
Who do I censor? I don't censor anybody. I put the one guy in timeout that kept saying he hates his life over and over in the chat and said people are cute. That was it. Jesus Christ.
Again, the worst position in all of sports is mediocrity. You're not good enough to make the playoffs or the Super Bowl or the finals, or you're not good enough to get a high draft pick. That's where the Jets are. They're not the worst in no man's land.
Well said. You're not the worst team, not the best team. Right in the middle. Right in the gray area where you don't want to be.
And the worst thing is we're not going to be sellers and getting assets for next year. So that'll be fun.
So do you think Woody has a reputation that's known throughout the whole league?
100%.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
so who's coming?
Meddling.
Who's coming here to start brand new?
That's the point. So then
that's what I'm saying.
So your only hope is that Woody, if you want a prominent guy, Woody's got to completely back off. Like, you know what? You have full control over the organization. Will he ever do that? Probably not.
They had that chance. They had that chance they could have I know what you're saying, Tyson. They could have fired Saleh last year and hired Harbaugh. But again, that's easier said than done. Same thing with Sean Payton.
Absolutely right.
That's why we're in the situation now.
The Jets are in a tough spot, Afram, because if you don't want the prominent guys aren't going to come here, especially Bill Belichick ripping them every chance he gets for meddling and being all this other shit. So you have that. And then if you say, okay, you know what? Let's just run it back and not rebuild. We're bringing Aaron Rodgers back. Who wants to inherit him other than Rex Ryan? Nobody. Nobody wants that albatross at all.
If he's not here, who wants the team?
As I said, you're screwed either way. But coordinator. It's gonna be a. I don't know if even a first-time coordinator would take the job, even with Rodgers. But again, veteran head coach, you'd have to most likely go Mike Vrabel. But again, Vrabel would rather go to
Frank Reich.
Right. There's other spots than the Jets, whether it's a rebuild or whether Rodgers coming back next year. There's multiple spots where they could go to. You never know. The Eagles might fire their coach. You never know.
He should be fired.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing down to Jacksonville yesterday. Like Eagles, Bears, automatically 2 teams that are more attractive. Maybe the Giants.
Even the Cowboys are more attractive.
Maybe the Giants, if they fire Dable, and you know what, they do a clean slate where they have a new quarterback next year, they get rid of Jones and all that. Like, there's so many other spots besides the Jets and the Saints that are more attractive. Like, as Brian's saying, like, I want a playoff game too, but you know what? Sustained success. That's the end goal.
Dable won't come here because he won't.
No. It's not like I want Dable either.
What exactly is Dable accomplished?
No, I'm just saying. You mentioned he Doug Peterson. I don't know.
No.
Oh no. I was saying
I'm looking at what's on the chat.
Doug Peter. Brian, this is the one that's the most interesting out of all of them.
I wouldn't.
If he's learned any kind of lessons.
I don't think he'd take Woody's shit. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
I wouldn't go for Brian Flores. You need an offensive guy, but the problem is you're going to end up with a first-time coordinator. There's no proven coach good enough to coach the Jets.
Why are we so eager to start this rebuild with all these names that we're throwing around that we know aren't going to change the culture here?
Because we know we have not going to work either.
But we know Woody's not giving control to somebody that's actually going to fix what the root of the problem.
Then we know we're not going to win a Super Bowl.
So we're just going to sit here and accept 7 to 10 wins and say hallelujah?
One more year.
I'd rather take my chances on another year with Aaron Rodgers than starting over on another rebuild that we know is going to end in the same place that it started.
So we're gonna have one good year, hallelujah, and then the next 5 years will suck. I get it.
I mean,
just
we're going to suck anyway once the rebuild starts, whether it starts next year or the year after.
So then why delay it?
Exactly. That's my point.
Why not?
Because you're not delaying. The thing is, you're not delaying it for a Super Bowl run. You're delaying to hope to make the playoffs. Like, maybe next year we can win 9 games.
You sneak in. I hope you go on a run. You catch lightning in a bottle. That's all you have right now.
You say you're a realist. You see what the team is. Rebuild or not, no one's coming here except for maybe Rex, right?
Yep. Oh, 100%.
So why not bring in Rex? You bring in Wink Martindale as your defensive coordinator, and you start piecing guys and see what you get.
Who's your offensive coordinator?
Good question. I'm just saying.
Keep Downing.
Oh, Christ. For continuity. Luca, good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you guys. Catch you later.
Change that hat. Change that hat.
That hat is badass, man. That hat is badass, man. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. First of all, I want to apologize for the last stream. I was not implying any harm to anybody, any animal, anybody else.
That's not what we heard.
Like that.
You're good, man.
But anyhow, I mean, I really agree with Tyson. I understand where you're coming from, Kevin. The Jets are screwed because you've got a no-win situation here. I think they're going to come back with Rodgers next year. I think Woody's going to look at this and say, how am I going to get anything out of this mess? He's going to sell the hype. He's going to hope that this year we win enough games that he can say, you know what? We did pretty good at the end. We started getting it right. And next year will even be better because Rodgers will be a year off his Achilles because he can blame that. He can say some of this is his Achilles wasn't fully there, which is bullshit. He got hurt this year because the offensive line sucks. And then he's going to sit there and say, we'll put it together. We started putting it together. And it's a forlorn hope. I mean, personally, I don't think so. This year, I'm at the point, I'm going to watch a game and I'm going to hope I can get a good game out of it, that there's some interest in it, that I can catch Garrett Wilson making a catch. And looking at the options, I mean, it's the same problem. You guys have it nailed. What do you do for a coach for next year? If you're going to bring back Rodgers, it's going to have to be a coach that Rodgers is willing to say, I'm willing to work with him or slum with him or whatever. It's not going to be Mike McCarthy, and God help us if it's Mike McCarthy. But I hate McCarthy. But I don't think it's going to happen because Rodgers doesn't like it. So agreed. Thanks, Armand. You're right. So you've got, in a world of bad things, there's nothing really here. If we go into a rebuild, it's going to be the same thing. Joe Douglas is gone, guys. And we know that even if the Jets go on a good run this year, Douglas is not going to come back because Woody screwed him. Woody, 1 week says, we've got the best personnel I've ever seen. Joe Douglas is a god. And then all of a sudden it all goes to hell. And then Woody takes over. He hires, he gets Adams in. He gets Reddick back into camp. Goes totally against Joe Douglas. Douglas is going to just basically ride out the year. He's not going to say anything because he's
a lame duck. It's just they won't renew his contract the way he goes.
And even if Woody at the end of the year said, hey, Joe, I'll re-sign you, he's going to say, why? Why would he? Because he knows what the future is. The guy's not an idiot. He may be a lot of things, but he's not an idiot. And if we do a rebuild, right, the problem is, let's say Rodgers decides to retire, which could happen. They're stuck with a huge cap with him. Yeah. Then you got Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. And then we got another problem. If we go into a rebuild, you're talking realistically 3 to 5 years, even if you can get good people. And I just can't see a GM candidate, an experienced GM that's going to come in here and or that would hire an experienced coach. I just don't see it.
I just don't get why every rebuild for the Jets takes 4 to 5 years for us to realize that it's been a failure.
We're incompetent.
And Washington doesn't need
TJ Stroud, second overall pick, they're in the playoffs. Commanders, they're 7-2 right now, 1 year.
Because they don't get competent people. And you can see it in Washington. Look what happened. Dan Snyder gets out of the league. And then they whatchamacallit. And then they, all of a sudden, miraculously, Washington's now a competitive team. And the problem the Jets, and also think about this one in a rebuild, now you're going to have young guys like Garrett Wilson. They're going to walk away. They're not going to wait 5 years. They're not going to sign a new contract. Even if they extend their option or take their 5th-year option, they're not going to stay here. And then we got a bunch of other players. Reed's going to be gone. We've got all these. It's a mess.
Conklin, you're both
And
your tackles.
In some ways, we're going to be kind of like the Giants. If you think about when Dable took over after Gettleman left them a mess, he had enough of a team to be able to. They went on a sort of playoff run, right? And that first year, and now they're garbage, and they're struggling to rebuild. They probably will. I think the Giants are going to stay the course. But with the Jets, it's going to be like it's a mess. It's such a tangled mess, and this is what happens when you play now.
Well, see, the Giants, Dable's biggest thing is he could blame Daniel Jones. That's Dable's thing. He doesn't have his quarterback to play with. They gave him the extension because they had to. He had that great playoff game. They had to bring him back because if he didn't, look stupid as hell. But then after that, it's like, all right, I don't have my quarterback. The hard knocks for the Giants. They wanted Jaden Daniels. They wanted Drake May. Like they made it very known that this wasn't their quarterback. So when the season falls apart, it's like, hey man, we're a quarterback away, similar to the Jets.
And then looking at the Jets, even if they do badly in the rest of this year, let's say they decide to tank. They're not going to because there's no way. I don't think it's going to happen. As I said, I think we're coming back with Woody Johnson. Let's say we can actually draft high. There just aren't the quarterbacks in this draft. There really aren't. I mean, I'm sorry, I've seen them. There's nothing exciting, and there's nothing that Woody can sell as exciting. The guy from Miami, people make a big deal. He may or may not be a good quarterback. I'm not that hyped. There isn't the hype like we have with Lawrence and even with Zach Wilson, right? So he can't sell it. So it's a mess there too, and he's not going to want to do it. This whole thing, and I think what bothers me, I got to be, I'm like Tyson in one sense. I'm really getting mad at Jets fans that are blowing a lot of smoke. And sorry, Kevin, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but they're looking at half a good game. The Jets have not had consistency in how many years? The only consistency they've had is stupid play. Corley may have dropped that ball and it was hysterical and he's a young idiot. But you know what? This is typical of the Jets.
But we watched the first half of the game last week was one of the worst football we ever seen. The penalties on special teams, that was like
Rodgers looked like they were going to cart him off the field. And I look at that and okay, we had a half a good game. I'm glad to hear it, but you know what? It's kind of a parallel to when Zach Wilson was quarterback. And I don't want to beat on the poor guy, but he had flashes, and we'd sit there and say, "Wow, he's great." Or it's also kind of like watching Fitzpatrick play quarterback. He'd have a brilliant game and you go, wow, this is great. And the next game he'd throw 5 interceptions. Well, that's the New York Jets.
Yep.
They'll play half a game. Under Saleh, they'd have a lousy first half. They'd fall asleep in the first half. They'd show up in the second. You can't do that. I want to see some kind of consistency, and they haven't had it. And I don't think this coaching staff is going to do it.
What do you need to see to get in the primetime state of mind where you can believe back in this team? How many wins? 6-6?
I'd have to see. You know what? What I'd like to see is they got a couple of games coming up that are not easy. They've got to beat, and I'm taking it game by game. I want to see it where they come in where each week they look better, where the penalties drop off, where they're not making the stupid plays every week, where it's not coming down to a missed field goal. I want to see the team gel, and they haven't. This is not a team, as I've said before, it's a great roster on paper, and it's not a team. Is there some hope? I kind of had hope in the offensive line because they patched together. In the past, we ended up with an O-line that looked like shit. And here we ended up with an O-line. They looked halfway good. The kid was playing right guard. Joe Tippmann was coaching, which I thought was awesome.
Yep.
The kid Tippmann's going to be a great one. And he'd be another one. He'd be smart to go free agency, wait as soon as he can and get out of here. Yeah, exactly. They need to play a full 60 minutes, and they need to do this every week, and they need to come in there where they come into the game where you're not sitting and saying, what the fuck is going on, where they're playing. And I have not seen. I need to see at least, what are they, 3-6 now?
Yep.
I want to see the next 2 or 3 games where they can do that. I want to see them come off the bye and actually win. And
so 6-6. 6-6, you're completely bought in.
I'm not completely bought in, but you know what? At least it can be a pleasure to watch it. I can say they've got a chance. I don't think they're going to make it.
No, me neither.
I think I would lay the odds at less than 5% that they get the playoffs. Even if they go to 9-8, it's going to be even less.
So what's your prediction for wins right now?
I'm guessing, you know what? I'm going to go bold, and I'm going to say I can see them only winning 7 games, doing the same thing they've done in the past. Looking at the schedule, and even then, it may not even be that good. Because you know what? They're writing off Miami. I know Tua's playing, right?
They played well yesterday. They played really well yesterday.
Tua's playing.
Yep.
You know, and I know we've been around how many years, Kevin? You guys, all you guys, Afrin, you guys have been around the Jets for how many years?
Too many.
How many years in the AFC East? no matter how bad one team is, no matter how good the next team is, how often have there been they get killed? Miami sucks, the Jets are good, and the Jets lose. The Jets have a garbage team. They go in and play Miami or Buffalo, and suddenly it looks
Jets
like
beat the Bills every year with Zach Wilson.
Exactly. It looks like so
Makes
that
no sense.
those rivalries and it used to be like that sort of with New England, not as much with New England, but they always had that ability. Well, guess what? It can happen. It can happen here. None of those last games, even Jacksonville. I'm not going to sit there and say it's. I'm going to sit there and say
they haven't. But see, the thing is, like, they haven't given us. They haven't earned that right to say, you know what? They can just show up and win games. Because we said that. You know what? They're only playing the Patriots. They can win that game. They could beat Russell Wilson. They could beat Bo Nix. We said it every week, and they didn't do it. So now it's like they got to win. Cool, but you got to do a lot more before we say, hey, you know, they've arrived. They're back. Bring everybody back. We're great. No way.
And you know what I honestly believe? I'm going to get, and I'll get off because a lot of other people want to talk. But, you know, the other half about the Jets, what I always claim is what the problem with their coaching staff is they don't have guys that play coaches that go all out. They don't have coaches like a Dan Campbell that sit there and say, I don't give a shit when anybody says, I'm going to keep pounding. My job is every week I want to kick the crap out of the other guys.
Yeah.
The Jets play down, and Salah was, I swear, was like this. They have this idea that you play down to the opponent. You do just enough to win. And you know what? It's why you lose. And if you have that mentality, you're going to play sloppy first halves, you're going to say, because the second half is going to be good. If you get a lead, I can prevent.
It's the arrogance that your system
is too good to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he said.
Like the Titanic, you know.
It's the arrogance that your system has no need. You have no need to make adjustments because you stick to the system, and that's the problem. It's the arrogance that led to his demise.
It's exactly it, and it's like it's not saying there. You know what? Every game you come in there to every game, you want to kick the crap out, and you come in there, and there's no excuses for it. And I said, I said on here, I watch exactly. There are no more Vilkus. I follow Army football, and I'm happy this year because I love their coach. The coach cracks me up. He's great. And one of the things that he does, you can see it. He doesn't let anything go. If somebody makes
that's the Jets. That's the Jets' problem. Always is the accountability, leadership, and
but the other thing is he also doesn't let up. You know, it's funny. Like this year, their first string quarterback was out there having an undefeated season, and the guy they had their backup in there. And it was a little bit more of a struggle, but they won. And you could see the coach was getting pissed off, even though they had a backup quarterback in there. I've seen them do things like they're up 3 touchdowns, and they don't score a touchdown on 4th down, and he's ripping the team apart.
Yeah, we're not.
The NFL, it's a lot harder. I'm not saying he would work here, but you know what? That's the attitude you got to have. And this has been the problem, and they don't get a coach like that. And I swear Woody hires coaches that are just like him. I mean, I don't know what this is.
Thanks for calling today. We appreciate it.
Guys.
Have a good night. All right. We got. What's up, man?
Oh, what's up, fellas?
The bag is gone.
The bag. I'm taking it off for just 1 week, but
just 1 week. You sure?
Oh no, it's ready to go. I mean, it's ready to go because, like you, Tyson. I'm not. We're not back. You know, we're still. You know, like Parcells says. You are what your record is. You know, we're still at 3-16. But I wanted to call and just bring up a couple things. So we've been fans for a while, and this Cardinal game has the makings of. I'm gonna go a little back in time here. So 2009, you guys remember that almost fateful Falcons game that we lost where Rex Ryan said the season was over.
He said he was over. Yep.
The season was over.
The Tony Gonzalez game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely right. I was there. I'm sure you were there too.
Yep. I was there.
So I'm going to use that game as an example, that season as an example. That was the season that we made the playoffs, and that was the season that we literally almost lost our way into the playoffs. If it wasn't for Curtis Painter starting that game instead of, when the Colts were 14-0, probably we would have just fizzled away, would have never made the playoffs. So even in seasons where we are successful, we find a way to lose these stupid games. But that was an aberration in 2009. Even in 2010, we had, even the 11-win season, like there were still some games that I remember that we should have won that we obviously didn't. Now, obviously, 2015, we lost to the Bills after winning 5 in a row, so on and so forth. I mean, 2019. I want to bring up 2019, the post-Thanksgiving game where Adam Gase didn't eat with his family because he was preparing for the 0-10 Bengals. Fell flat on our face with an opportunity for us
This is
to
a
actually
dark
bet
path
those
we're going
seasons.
down here.
I've
We
been thinking
remember the
about it.
bad. We remember the bad.
All we do is remember the bad, and
Yeah.
just Sunday has the makings of that all over again, like you guys have been saying. The 10 days off, the great second half, the catch, all the these great feelings we're feeling as Jet fans. I don't know, boys. I mean, I know I heard you guys for last hour, but how are you guys like truly feeling deep down inside if they go in, play a great game, play lights out, win like 33-10, somehow stop the run, and the Jets are 4-6 coming off a big win after a mini bye in Arizona? I want to hear it.
I wait for the next game. I need to see the next game. I need to see the same game against the Colts.
They've lost their wiggle room. It's like, okay, now you're 4-6. You can't go 4-7. You got 5-6. Like you gotta you've got to get to 6-6. That's my problem.
Well, this is a big step, proving you can win back-to-back games. Then the next step would be getting to 500, and then from there, I mean, anything would be on the table.
Because I'm telling you now, I do not remember recently. I don't remember ever them coming off a bye and putting and making a statement like that in the last 10 to 15 years. Like I just don't remember. I mean, I can't remember every game that they come off a bye, but with an implication of keeping the season alive, this just has disaster written all over it. But I will say, I'm thinking, if they do actually somehow do what I said and blow them out, I mean, I'm another week bought in. I'll say that.
Well, yeah, at 4-6, I think everybody's like, all right, we last another week until just don't go 4-7. Like if you got to you're just buying time. You're buying a week. Each week you're buying a week until you're like, all right, there goes that one.
Oh, totally. No, I agree. And thank God they flexed that game out on Saturday or Sunday. I'm sorry. I mean, for all of my fellow season ticket holders, I'm so sick of these night games, and that would just, that's good. But I just want to make a quick call and just bring up those old games and just say, hey, you know what?
You did a good job at depressing prime time. We appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to try. Maybe, hopefully, I can throw this bag away for good. But let's hope.
But they won though. They won after you. You and Armand with the grimace outfits. So
you know what? Fuck it. Let's back. All right, let's go, boys. Let's fucking bring this thing back.
The rally bag.
You never know.
The rally bag is back on. Let's go into Arizona and kick the shit out of them.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Have a good night.
Keep this train rolling. Have a good one, boys.
Be good, man.
See ya.
People are going to tune in the stream like, what in the hell happened last night? I don't care. I don't care. Team Tyson, man. We're becoming friends now?
This team is garbage.
Whoa, we just won.
So take that little vac and pick up the garbage.
No, this team isn't it.
What's going on tonight?
No. I'm with Tyson here. This team's not it. They gotta sell.
Where's the tank background then?
Wait, you're selling who? Who are you selling?
Anyone with a pulse.
So Garrett Wilson, you're selling. They're getting calls about Garrett Wilson right now.
Here's the problem. That's a tough one because I don't think you're gonna get anything that's worth what he's actually worth. So probably not on that one. At least keep him going here. Especially if you sell, you're gonna have to start over, and then you gotta have some pieces there for.
Wait, hold on. Prime time for your question. Okay, no, hold on. So now I'm not saying trade Sauce tomorrow, but if he continues to have the year he's having now, at the end of the year he says, "I want to be the highest paid corner in football," or trade me. What do you do?
I mean, that's going to be up to your
goodbye.
No, but what do you? I'm asking prime time a general manager.
That's going to be up to your next GM though.
No, but I'm asking you what
also,
you do.
I need to know if he was healthy this year or not, because he has not looked anywhere close to what he was the first 2 years.
What would you do?
I noticed it in San Francisco, sitting right behind the bench. He did not look like himself. So if he's
healthy and playing like this, and he says, I want max corner money or trade me.
Well, you wouldn't be able to do that, I think, coming off of this year. I think you'd want to see him for another year
so
to get back to the form that he had the first 2 years. If he does that,
that's not your option. Your option is trade him or pay him. That's it.
You don't have to pay him after 3 years.
He's holding out.
You still have a 5th-year option. You still can franchise him for 2 years. Good luck trying to hold out coming off. No, there's no way he would hold out.
All right.
It's too soon for that.
So your answer is hold out. We don't care. You're staying here.
I don't think he would hold out after 3 years.
If he wants max money,
that would be a very bold move coming off a down year for him.
Maybe he thinks he played well.
I mean, if he's hurt, why isn't
I would be willing to make him the highest paid cornerback in football if he can get back to what he was the first 2 years.
But
I
he's
don't
not
know if
right
he's
now.
playing injured or what this year. He looks like a complete shell of himself, but it's
They
also
haven't
like,
mentioned
you
at all
can't
that
trade him
he's
right now
injured
without
in
knowing
any
who the
way.
GM's gonna be.
Is he on the injury report?
Well, I mean, maybe that's something they're covering up. I don't know.
Well, then they're breaking the law.
Well,
Sauce
trying to
Gardner,
rat him
that could be a whole other rant about my problems with Sauce Gardner. I loved him going into this season, and it's just beyond just like it's beyond so many things. But he's not. It doesn't matter if he's healthy or not. He doesn't try. He doesn't try. You see him. He waits for other people to make tackles before going in. He doesn't change the game at all. He's a person. He's a piece you add when you already have a good defense. He doesn't have interceptions. He doesn't force fumbles. He's not a game changer. He's a guy who can lock down a player most of the time. He had a holding call like we saw against some random wide receiver in the game. I mean, that's a whole other problem. But going back to the main point of this call is that this team was so bad. They were so bad in that first half. And that was just the vintage, the same way that you just know that they're going to come out and lose this next game. You just knew they were going to come out and win just to ruin the tank. I still think that this team will win one game if they're lucky. And that's the Jaguar game. This team is that bad, in my opinion.
So that second half did nothing for you at all?
Nope, nothing at all. Because a game is 2 quarters, and the Texans did not show up for that second quarter. I don't even know if did they even get a point in the second half? I don't even think they got a field goal. They missed like a 20-yard field goal.
So it had nothing to do with the Jets playing well? I mean, the Texans are a 6-2 team. I know they were banged up, but they're still a 6-2 team.
6-2 teams have bad games. Okay. They have bad games. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They only...
They were without Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. I mean,
they didn't have wide receivers. That's a whole other point.
They still had their defense.
We didn't have half our offensive line. I mean,
we still put up 21 on them.
Now it's we. Now Afram's part of we. He's bringing the we.
It's still my team, regardless.
Damn. All right, so now Afram's part of Team Olbrich.
I mean,
I'm Team Jets.
Mm-hmm.
No matter
I'm
what.
devastated. I'm devastated.
46 years. You think I'm going to change now?
Why are you devastated?
Because that was it. That was the tipping point. That was not only was that going to be the whole, like, we're going to sell now, where at least there was a good chance of that happening. There was momentum. Now they're going to finish with like 4 or 5 wins, maybe. Like that's gonna
Well, I'll get you can't be too negative. They're gonna have 7 wins and become completely irrelevant and in no man's land, ruin the draft spot and get just enough movement. Like, you know what? We made progress. Congratulations, everybody. Everybody come back next year. We're one big happy Jets family going 7-10. Congratulations, all. You're all coming back.
I'm going to one-up you on that because that is a pretty dark scenario, but it's going to be one of those scenarios where the teams in front of us are going to be like the Raiders, the Giants, the teams that all get the good quarterbacks, and we're going to be at 9, where we're going to get like the best player in the draft that no one wanted, and he's going to be horrible. And that's always what happens to us.
Number 1 player on our board.
This team just can't. Tyrone has a better schedule than this team. He just doesn't. At least he doesn't show up consistently. This team, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't show up. There's no consistency to this team, and that's going to be their downfall. And it drives me mad. They can't play offense consistently. There's no special teams consistently except for Morstead. No one will down his punts inside the 5-yard line.
We hit all 3 extra points.
Oh yeah. That now the page has been turned. I mean, it's just
that's gonna be so Woody. It's gonna be so Woody Johnson. We were 2-6, but we ended 7-10. That's progress.
And the fact that we're just in, this is where I'm going to break off with Tyson a little, is that I can, and that's probably just because of my youth and my inexperience, but I am at least happy with the rebuild, and that there's at least hope of like a rookie quarterback somehow being great, whether that be Jordan Travis or someone else. There's at least that hope for the first game or two. Kind of like when Mike White came in. There's just like, okay, maybe this is something. But with this is just a hamster wheel.
But what's your rebuild? What's your rebuild?
What do you mean, what's my rebuild?
What's your rebuild? Give me a rebuild. Who's coming in? Who's doing what? What's going on with this?
The same thing that any other rebuild that any NFL team's been doing for the past 20 years. You get a new coach. You get a rookie quarterback.
And who's this new coach?
A new general manager.
It doesn't matter who the new coach. It's the
Oh, yes, it
It's
does.
the principle of the opportunity of having a high draft pick if you actually mess this up. But we didn't mess it up. So now it's a whole other problem. But now you try to, I guess, I don't know, you try to get in some kind of new first-time head coach and hope they work out. Kind of like what
we're back to hope.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing you can
So
have.
then we can hope they win the next 6 games.
Oh my God.
If you don't have hope, now you have to do this whole thing where you push out Josh McCown again and just with whatever veteran we could sign on the market.
You can make him your offensive coordinator.
Fine. At this point, why not? It's
with
tough.
Rex and Wink Martindale there.
Probably come back.
That was my rant. I'm sure I'll be back next week talking draft, but there's no draft talk this week. We have to lose first.
I want to do a mock
I was
draft.
originally November 4th, man, because Primetime said we can't be talking draft November 4th. But Cam Ward, that dream's
Still not ready to talk draft.
going
Come on,
before our
we're
eyes.
coming off
I
a
don't
win
know.
and embrace some positivity. Let's build off.
Listen.
Two in a
I
row,
think
1 week
if
at a
this
time.
makes you feel any better, on the call on this, I legitimately believe this team, if they go 9-8, will make the playoffs. I legitimately believe that's good enough to make the playoffs.
No,
I don't think they're going to do it though. I don't think they're going to go 9.
No.
9-8.
I think the teams are so bad this year and inconsistent, like the Colts.
But they
the
don't have
Broncos.
they don't have the tiebreakers though. They lost all these AFC games. Steelers, Patriots, Broncos.
Well, they got to win. They got to win some games here to make the playoffs. I mean, they got to make up for it. If they beat the Colts,
Steelers and Ravens are both probably getting the 10 wins minimum. I mean, they already
whatever.
have
The
Chargers
Broncos
are
have a
probably
tough
gonna get
schedule.
there.
You need the Broncos to collapse, and then you would have the tiebreaker over the Colts if you beat them. But that's fantasy world.
I'm not even worried about the Colts.
9 wins.
Whatever.
The
The Joe
Bengals,
Flacco
Chargers,
revenge
Broncos,
game.
you got to worry about.
Okay. I'll
Have a
see
good
you
night, man.
guys.
Later, man.
Have a good night.
I'm sure people are tuning in for all his happiness and like, oh my God, we're gonna rally around the Jets. We're beating the Cardinals. Here we go.
We were until you showed up.
I don't care. I'm not that guy. I'm just not that guy because
I know. I'm just
because
joking.
what is
Relax.
every Jet fan says the same thing behind the fucking screen, bro. This is a game they always lose until they get on social media. Oh no, man, you're just negative, bro. We're gonna win this game. You don't believe in your team. Why should I?
I think you guys are confusing like my excitement around this with just being anti-rebuild.
Anti-rebuild. You're just trying to get. You want Aaron Rodgers one more year for your tickets. That's all you want it for.
My tickets are canceled already. I don't even give a shit about my tickets. I'm done. They're done.
But I don't like. But what have you seen out of Aaron Rodgers that you want to see him play one more year?
I mean, the fact that he's on pace to put up numbers that have been better than anything we've ever seen in a Jets uniform. I mean,
Isn't saying much.
Still, I think it's better than we've had before. I think the collection of talent that we have is still there. I think we can question all day the coaching staff, how they prepare during the week, how they prepare for games. Like there's a lot that you can question with this team, but the quarterback isn't the biggest problem. He maybe hasn't been the savior that we hoped he would be, but he's not the biggest problem.
But he's not. You think he's the answer though?
I think he can be part of the answer. I think he still has enough left in the tank that if you keep him upright, he's healthy. I think he can be part of that. Yeah.
He hasn't shown it this year yet, though.
The glimpses when he's been healthy, I think he still has it. Hasn't been consistent. Yes, I agree. Has he been the savior? No, he absolutely has not. But I'm still not buying a rebuild. I'm not trusting this unknown GM and unknown head coach to develop a new quarterback the right way. Nor do I trust him to land on the right quarterback, let alone actually develop them.
Is there a video of you canceling your tickets?
I just sent an email. I haven't had my my phone call with my rep yet, but I did post a video about all the reasons why I was canceling.
We wanted to see the actual act happen with you on the phone talking to somebody and explain the reasons why you want to cancel.
Hello.
Is this thing on?
Sure, they'd hate me for that one.
Prime time chickened out. That's been you chickened out.
No, I haven't got on the phone yet.
He won't do it, Afram. What do you think? Afram, what do you think the odds of Primetime actually recording that phone call? You won't do it.
I don't know.
No, but what do you think in your heart? Because Primetime's a nice guy. He's worried about the backlash of it. Oh man, he made it look
I don't care
stupid.
about that. I'm never going to be a season ticket holder again. I don't care about that.
Well,
I mean, it'd be great if you're really truly about the channel and getting views and shit. Like, that'd be hysterical if you did it.
I don't care about getting views, but if you guys would enjoy it, I will post it. Yes.
I mean, yeah, like this is exactly what I'm saying.
You guys kill me.
Hey, I would do it. I mean, they call me. I rip them to shreds. I don't care.
You're doing it now.
Yeah, they know. Trust me.
Now if they won a game, I would feel bad.
Yeah, you can't do it for win. Well, you notice all the commercials are 3 times as much now. The commercials are everywhere.
Yep.
I think whoever their marketing people are, they must have emailed 10 times a day. Buy a new shirt. Buy a new hat. Buy this. Buy that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Desperate times.
All right. I think he's done doing laundry now. What's up, man?
Guys, what's up? Sorry about that. Yeah,
What's up, man?
my wife was at work and she left me a bunch of. Just got back from the in-laws this weekend, so it's just busy. My wife's prego too, so that's another thing.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
appreciate it. Interesting stream so far. Everyone's talking about like the rebuild and everything. I kind of like Kevin's take. I kind of don't want to see another rebuild so quickly. So even though the team has been giving us a lot of dog shit football, so I don't blame people for kind of feeling the way that they do about just kind of blowing it up. But oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was good. Anyways, I don't know, man. It's tough. I just kind of want to see how each game kind of goes by. The big test for me is if they actually can win this game and beat the Colts, and then after the bye actually win another game before I'm even maybe contemplating maybe being a little bit more interested than what it was in the beginning of the year. Because 3-6. This is a very big hole that the team dug themselves into, and it's. Man, it's tough for me to believe that they can climb themselves out of it and get into the playoffs. I could also see us getting enough games and missing the playoffs because of the games that we were supposed to win. But the team doesn't make this season. It's like Adam's call last year when he was the Robert Saleh Muppet, where it's just like self-inflicted wounds make a season interesting instead of just playing complimentary football. So. Yep. I don't know, man. I just want to take every game and just see where it goes. Hopefully they learn something, but I mean, we've been saying this for how long, and it's just like, fuck, I don't know. As for the head coach, if we end up blowing it up, I don't give a fuck. I'm throwing the bag at whatever big-time head coach we can just to see, because I don't want to have a brand new, innovative-minded, first-time rookie head coach and a GM that we don't know shit about. That's just me, because how many times have we already been through this shit? Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel like. What is your guys' take?
But how many times have we been saying that's what we need as the head coach, but Woody Johnson's never willing to pay or give up that control to make it happen?
Exactly.
Fair, but it's like, what other fucking options do we have outside of running the same fucking players, man? It's just like, dude, we're in the fucking twilight zone every fucking season, man. It's like we can't have a fucking normal season at all. Like, goddamn, dude, this is bullshit. I don't know, Tyson. How do you feel, man? Are you bought in at 6-6, or do you want to just kind
6-6?
Yeah,
anything less than 6-6, I don't care. I don't believe in anything. They've got to earn it, dude. They've beaten us down, and we saw a half of it last week. It wasn't like they played 4 quarters of great football against a great team. They played a half of football against a battered team. All right, you got the win. Good for you. Congratulations. You got a lot more to prove. You're 3-6
for sure.
Like you want to be a fan, but I'm not going to sit there and simply, oh my God, I'm so excited about this game on Sunday. You watch because you're a fan, expecting the worst, because that's what they usually give us.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know, man. This is gonna be tough. I like kind of feel like Arizona is kind of like one of those sleeper teams. Like you just definitely got to make sure you got to give them the respect because
they're playing well right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Every game that we're like they're supposed to win or this is an easier game, it's like we find ways to lose, and it's like
Jets been losing easy games all year.
Yeah, man. God damn, man. It's like every schedule we get, we might as well be like, that's a hard game. That's an even harder game. That's a hard game.
No, but the Jets, every game for the Jets is hard because they got to win it. That's it. They don't. They have no more. Oh, we can lose this one, but win the next one. No, you've lost all those opportunities now. You've got. I don't think 9 wins gets them in the playoffs. To be honest with you, it's got to be 10 because tiebreakers.
And even 10, you're cutting it close too.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
the AFC's a mess.
With that. Yeah. I really don't want to bring Joe Douglas back. I've seen like some of my friends that are Jets fans, and they're like, I want to bring it back. It's like after what he did to the defense, just destroying it. I don't want to bring him back because that was our strength, man. For the last couple of years, we had like really good players, and I just after what he's done, it's just like I can't. Just letting JFM go and Quentin Jefferson, it's like that would have at least been a big help, keeping us in those games a little bit more better defensive wise. But I don't want to bring him back personally. But I mean, if they want to bring it for one more ride with Rodgers, I guess whatever. Because too many unknowns and then what at least an average was 5 years for rebuild. I don't want to fucking deal with that shit. I personally don't.
Well, rebuilds are expedited if you have a good coach and a good quarterback. Like look at the Commanders now with Jaden Daniels. They hit the jackpot. I mean, Dan Quinn's a good quarterback, a good coach, but Jaden Daniels is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, good quarterback. That helps your rebuild. Like you have Zach Wilson that blows, hurts your rebuild. That's the problem.
Man. 3 years.
I don't know, man. I just we'll see where it goes, man. I'm not optimistic, but I mean, if they learn something, let's just hope and see if they can make something happen. That's the best thing we can do.
The only person that learned something this week was Primetime. Primetime got his hope back.
They need an AI Art Woody into some like Diddy freak off shit, man. Just to get him off.
Primetime learned all about hope right now. Have a good day, man.
Yeah, man. Later, guys.
Be good, man.
Adam, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You're the one.
I'm doing fine. Interesting show tonight. Had to rattle you guys a little bit, get things more,
No, it's rattling. I think the point Kevin's making is just you really don't have much of a choice but to go back, run it again with this team.
The fuck you don't.
You really don't. No.
Why are you so eager to start a rebuild?
Because if I know, because well, first of all, if the Jets just say they turn things around, not playoffs, if they win 7 games, that and Rodgers plays well, I think that may be enough for them to say, you know what, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I'm retiring. I think he could actually walk away from this. I think so, 100%, because he don't want to deal with this shit no more.
I think he would feel like he still has it, and that with the right coaching staff, maybe this team could still go on.
Still winning 7 games, he still has it.
Well, I mean, depending on how they finish out the year. I mean, if we're seeing more of what we saw in the second half, where him and Garrett and Devontae
taking
are
a
making plays,
and then the whole I just can't see like winning 7 games doesn't warrant bringing Olberg back. It just doesn't.
No, that's not going to happen.
That's the
but I also don't think he's attached to Olberg either.
I don't think so. I don't think he's attached to anyone there.
But that's the whole thing. So you're going to attach yourself to Rodgers for one more year, which is going to alienate a lot of coaches that don't want to come here then.
If I felt they were going to miss out on somebody prominent that wanted this job, I'd say, all right, you know what? It makes sense. Blow it up, hire that guy, change the culture. You're not missing out on that guy because you're not in a position where you're capable of hiring that guy. Woody Johnson's still here. We know his reputation. We know he's going to meddle. We know he's going to interfere. Your cap situation is not exactly great. It's shaky at best. So who exactly are you hiring? What GM head coach combination wants to come here right now under these circumstances? So if you delay it another year, maybe you do have that playoff run. Maybe the vibes start to change a little bit.
You're delaying it for maybe a playoff run. Maybe. It's not like you're not delaying it for a slam dunk Super Bowl. You're delaying it. Maybe we can make the playoffs next year.
You hope to make the playoffs and you hope to go on a run. As opposed to tearing it down where you know for a fact the next 2 to 3 years are going to be completely worthless.
Your goal is to maybe make the playoffs for 1 year and then blow it up because Rodgers is going to be gone. He's not playing 2 more years.
But
so this year was your year for Super Bowl or bust. Super Bowl or bust was this year. This year. We're not making it. Guess what it is? It's time to bust.
We agree the blow it up part is inevitable, but does it really change if we start it at the end of this year versus next year?
Why wait? If it didn't happen this year, it didn't happen next year.
But again, doesn't that depend on the candidates, though, that are out there? If there's nobody prominent that you're missing out on, what's the harm in delaying it another year?
Are you getting a coach to do both GM and head coach?
Might.
Who you giving that? Who's getting
okay?
President and head coach.
So who you hire first? You hire GM first, right? Because the hierarchy now is the GM, and then he hires the head coach.
They have no hierarchy.
But that's the way yes, to answer your question, is yes, you hire your quality general manager who has final decision on the quarterback. Like, you know what? I don't want to keep him. Out he goes.
These timelines just don't work at all.
That's the way it works.
The timelines do not work for anybody.
So right now, the way the Jets currently exist, they have an interim head coach and a lame duck general manager. So when the season's over, Joe Douglas is gone. He ain't coming back. He's not going to want to come back. Yep. So what are you going to do? Keep the head coach and say you have to. The next general manager has to inherit the head coach. No,
you're not moving the head coach. You're hiring a new head coach, but you're probably going to have some kind of
hiring the general manager first.
Operations for a year or two as that stopgap in the same role as the head coach.
You hire the general manager first, and the general manager is going to say, if I'm coming to New York Jets, I want full say over the roster, and I do not want Aaron Rodgers here. Period.
You're not hiring a prominent GM this offseason.
Who the fuck's taking the job then?
You roll it back with Douglas.
You're going to have somebody in title as president of football operations. You're not going to have a traditional GM this offseason. Just watch.
That's some Mickey Mouse bullshit then, because you got to understand.
You only make that move once you're ready to tear it all down. They're not going to.
You have no general manager. You have to hire one.
Basically, Woody Johnson's your GM right now, anyway.
Oh,
and what? Okay, now I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. what coach is going to come in when there's no GM in place?
Exactly.
Rex Ryan would.
That's just
They'll settle on whatever head coach is willing to come here.
You do stupid things, you get stupid results. That would be the most asinine thing. That'd be enough for me to not watch a team anymore. I'd be like, you know what? I'm done.
So you hire a coach now with the interim. Then who when you finally get a GM, is he going to want this coach?
Do you agree right now, though, that Woody Johnson's basically your GM? You look at every big move the Jets have made, from Aaron Rodgers.
Because he's the lame duck general manager.
Adams, working out the Reddick contract. All these moves are Woody Johnson. They're not Joe Douglas. So essentially, you don't have a GM right now anyway.
Exactly, because you're a lame duck general manager in a win-now team that's falling apart. So
that's
that's
the
why
difference if you run it back for another year with essentially the same thing with nobody.
Because Woody Johnson's not a fucking football guy. He can't. He doesn't know his ass from his elbow. To let Woody Johnson be your football guy, you might as well just say fuck the team and just give up.
He's going to do that anyway.
No, bro. You have to hire a general manager, and a general manager's not going to want to inherit a head coach.
He's going to do what Woody Johnson does anyway.
That's wild,
in
dude.
The current state of the team, you're not hiring any prominent.
There is no way
not hiring any proven established head coach. You're not.
If Woody Johnson is this inferior general manager, you're not getting nobody to come here at all.
Exactly.
Players, coaches, nobody will come here.
Ryan for 1 year. I'm telling that's going to be their only option when it comes
to
selling.
They will be the worst.
Trying to sell this back to the fans for another. That's going to be.
You'll set this team back a decade doing that. You'll set the team back a decade because nobody's going to want to come here. It'll be the people can't get out here fast enough. I'm telling you right now, with the reputation Woody Johnson has, they cannot get out of here fast enough.
You don't think if they hired Rex Ryan that there would be excitement from the fan base? I'm not saying it's the right move. Trust me.
With no general manager.
They know his record with picking draft picks.
Act like Rex Ryan's some fucking Hall of Fame GM. It's just
you're not going to have a true GM.
This is just stupid.
You basically don't have a GM right now anyway. You would agree on that, right?
I agree with you. He should have been fired 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so
but I don't double down. But that's just doubling down on stupidity. We know we're doing stupid things. Let's keep doing stupid things next year by not having a general manager. That's stupid. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you gotta have some sort of organization.
You need a guy that can actually negotiate contracts, can evaluate players, run a draft.
Who wants the job?
Establish a scouting department. What are you guys getting scout anybody? He can't even do a fucking goddamn draft phone calls right.
Who wants the job? That's unless you're giving somebody like
a guy that wants
for a year or two as this experiment plays out. You give somebody a year or two window to just scout
and furthermore,
draft picks and prepare for life after Rodgers.
You got to hire more than fucking Joe Douglas. You got to replace fucking Alexander, Hogan, all these guys because they didn't really replace them. They promoted guys, so the staff is already short staffed to begin with in the front office.
Yep. Yeah, you don't even have like a successor that could take over.
They have more marketing guys than they'd have fucking scouts.
It's ridiculous.
Adam's like, what do I get myself into?
No, I'm fine.
These are the choices that they give you, though.
And this is the problem.
This is such a mess.
You need to get if he gets a guy in there, someone's got to tell him, hey, you got to let a football guy run your team. And that's why
we'd be telling him that. It was supposed to be Joe Douglas.
It should be the NFL telling him.
Oh.
I truly believe they should, you got a New York location. They see this. It only helps the league if New York is succeeding. And
they don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, well, there's money. All I know is that someone needs to put him in his place and tell him, hey, you ain't doing
the Jets are good for the NFL. They keep sending the friggin' London every 2 years to play.
Yeah.
But then you get Chris Johnson. That's
he
the
could
problem.
be the one that's running the search anyway. Who knows?
Yeah, he's going to call Peyton Manning and then say, hey, give Gase another shot.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be the consultant. All right. This show was just
this was fun.
Let's see what we got here. Hi, Jose, how you doing, man?
This has been very entertaining.
Should I mention that Matthew Stafford's my favorite quarterback?
At the bottom, you've had the voice of reason, and at the top, you've had yin and yang.
Why did they kick the field goal?
Because I happened to find it on the chance.
103-yard interception, man. That's a long ass touchdown.
Yeah.
Rough time with Seattle streets.
TT,
What's
Prime
up?
time. Would you rather be a fan of watching? Would you rather watch the Jets lose to the Patriots or watch the Seahawks lose to the Rams? What loss is worse?
Probably the Seahawks Rams.
Yeah, that's a brutal loss, man.
PT,
What's up?
PT, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you for a minute.
We don't need to talk fantasy. I mean,
Oh, did you lose to Jose?
his fucking kicker on Monday night last week beat me.
You lost to Jose?
His fucking kicker.
Bro.
PT,
Even Afton's
let me
disappointed.
talk to you.
Rico Dowdle getting sick on Sunday night completely screwed me because I had to pick up a running back last minute. I picked up who is it? Devin Singletary, who did nothing, and then Boswell goes 4 for 4 on field goals and wins the game for him.
PT,
Bullshit.
PT,
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
let me talk to you for.
What do you want?
My old drinking buddy.
What's up?
You want to know what Tyson wants to get the rebuild over now?
Why is that?
Why is that?
Because what is the definition of insanity?
Facts.
That's
Jose.
what we've been doing, though. Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and we've been trying every single different way to rebuild and then get the exact same result every single time.
Tyson,
I'm with you, Jose.
that is what you'll be doing next year with Aaron Rodgers. The same.
Prime time's making Woody Johnson the general manager now. We've gone full circle now.
Is he not the GM right now, basically?
Yes.
No, next
Who
year
made
he's
the last 4 prominent decisions
Let's not call him Woody
the
Jones.
organization has made? Who's made that call? It's been Woody Johnson. It's not Joe
Woody
Douglas.
Jones we got now.
Yeah.
So Jose, are you giving up on your Seahawks? Or you still believe?
Yes.
You gave up already? You're still in the hunt, man. What's your record? 4 and 5? So wait, you at 4 and 5 are giving up, but prime time at 3 and 6 is still believing. Bro.
Tyson.
What? Yes.
Much like the Jets, the Seahawks are out of tiebreaker.
You're 4 and 5 though, dude. You just lost a heartbreaker to the Rams.
You could still win 10, 11 games.
You can definitely win. Gino's playing good football.
No, yeah. Tyson.
You didn't even say that in a straight face.
I got you to smile, man.
Tyson.
Yo.
I will. In the offseason, I will give you Geno Smith for a 3rd round pick.
Might as well. Who cares?
On that
He's younger than Aaron Rodgers.
And he's better than.
He's better than Tyrod.
Yes.
Afton probably wouldn't like it though. Afton doesn't like Geno.
I can bring back. Remember my Geno song? From
Oh
the
my God,
Rock Talk days?
I remember that.
That was one of our hit songs.
I'm
back
fine.
then.
How are you?
Afton doesn't know what to do right now. He's just like
No, I'm just letting you guys talk. You know.
Before I go,
Yes, sir.
people, tomorrow, if you do one thing, go vote.
Vote.
It's your constitutional right.
Right.
At least do that.
People have fought for that right.
Yes.
I voted last week.
I voted last week. Dude, that line was long. I waited in line almost an hour and a half.
It was busy that Saturday.
They got it was 80 degrees outside. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, is there a beer vendor around here anywhere? They're like, sir, you cannot drink on the premises. I'm like, I'm bored. Didn't appreciate my jokes. Line was long though, man. Go out early. Wait, there's gonna be lines, so get ready for them.
I don't care who you vote for, just vote.
100%, I agree.
Well said, Jose.
Guys, have a good night. Love you guys.
You too, man.
Love you, man.
Check out my.
Yes, sir.
PT.
What's up?
If the Jets lose Sunday, you have to come to my stream and then announce you are done with this.
I agree.
Season.
I'll definitely hop on if they lose. You can hold me.
Thank you.
I got you.
Have a good night, Jose.
See you guys later. Good night.
Have a good night, man.
So, Afton, what was your expectation of the stream?
What we did now.
So you expected chaos? You didn't expect to be like smooth sailing?
Well, no, you came in with full guns blazing, which is,
I didn't want you guys to look too comfortable. I didn't want you
No,
guys...
but we were talking about something completely different. You went back to what you were looking at in Twitter and Twitter world. All everyone think we're back. We were talking about
It had a good balance.
rebuild.
It was a good flow.
Yeah, it was a good balance. Very good balance.
It had something for everybody, I think, throughout the
Yeah.
Legend did not vote. He's been banned, unfortunately.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, it's just he can't go. He goes to the voting booth. He's drunk all the time. He smells like beer and weed. It's never good, dude. It's like they don't let him in, so it's terrible. But what are you gonna do? Maybe next year or next 4 years from now, when he's more mature.
He's got to try the mail-in.
That's what he can't write. He's got some challenges, man. Well, Afram, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you helping us out.
Thank you for having me
and being a referee. You want to promote your? You want to promote your? Now, speaking, you know what? Like as angry as I was tonight, you ever check out his Twitter handle? The things he tweets out?
I do.
Bro, you're like a keyboard.
I only attack one person, and that's
I can't believe he hasn't blocked
moron.
me.
I don't know how Woody Johnson hasn't blocked you yet. I don't know how he hasn't blocked.
I don't think he reads it. Let him block me. I couldn't care less.
He probably has some admin doing this.
Exactly. They probably like the fact that I'm attacking him.
Yeah, it's engagement for him.
Okay. The more the people go and buy tickets, the less he's going to do. Make a change. And if they're watching this show, they should realize, hey, stay away from the football operations.
Yep.
Put someone with competency on there. You know absolutely dick about football. Okay?
See, now you mentioned Woody Johnson. His whole demeanor changes. He gets all angry.
Okay. And I have every right to be angry because he interferes when he shouldn't. And at the worst times.
Yep.
Okay. Right. And I can guarantee you that he had something to do with not paying JFM, or JFM didn't want to negotiate his contract, and he forced them to get rid of him or trade
Or the
him.
backup quarterback last year.
Well, that is shameful what he did there.
Criminal
is the word. You had an opportunity. You won 7 games with that team. And if you had a competent guy, you would have been in the playoffs. I believe that.
I agree.
All right. But, but you don't want to spend money on another quarterback because you're paying Rodgers that salary. Now you're paying $11 million to Wilson. Why am I going to put another guy in? I don't know. Stupid decisions. Penny wise, dollar foolish. That's the bottom line.
Tune in on Sunday as we watch as the Jets turn at 4:00 in California or Arizona. I'm sorry.
Like the sands in the hourglass.
Oh God.
These are the days of our life.
The game's gonna be excruciating. I just know it is.
Maybe not. You never know.
I know.
I have a good feeling.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe they learned the lesson against the Patriots. That how they came in like
last 2 minutes of the show. I'm gonna clip both you guys. No, it's gonna be good.
I was saying that. I said anything could happen. This team. No. I'm not taking Deion's son.
Nope.
No.
Neither one of them are coming here. Deion or son not coming. They're not coming to the Jets. They're more big time than that.
I don't need a circus here anymore.
We already got the circus. They won't come. They're all about Dallas. Deion's gonna coach Dallas. But thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Tomorrow at 7. Ian's got his hands full tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow because I'm not backing down at all with none of this shit.
Maybe he calls in sick.
He may. 8 o'clock tomorrow. Ian, are you guys doing a show with Fireman Ed Wednesday?
Yes, Wednesday.
Bring it 8 o'clock?
Yep.
Bring it. I got to call in because they're going to Ed's going to be pulling his positive bullshit. I got to call in.
Oh, boy.
He's back on the big screen now. Everybody's happy.
You don't take calls on that show, right?
Usually not, no.
They're chickens. Yeah. They should.
Well, it's only an hour.
So?
You know what you do? You drop, what's his name, off the thing and then put a caller in.
Damn.
Drop Jay off of there.
Okay.
And
I'll hop off.
Jay and Rob. Drop them off.
Damn, you dropping Rob too?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Drop one person. Yeah, drop Jay. You got 3 celebrities. Bring on some callers. Let them take them to task.
You see how fast
I call it in a heartbeat.
Ed gets all frustrated.
Oh, dude, I used to argue Ed all the time. We used to argue in the parking lot all the time.
You should call him then Thursday.
I'm down. Let's do this.
On a surprise. Oh, he left. Oh, he's going to warn him. He's going to warn him.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, me and Ian will be on talking about the same stuff. And then Sunday, the stream. Have a good night.
Be well, everyone.
Be well.